Greetings, weary travelers, come. Warm yourself by the fire, and let us regale you with mighty tales, tales of adventure, tales of heroism, and of course, tales of Tamriel. I'm your host, Arkaniir, back with the episode 272, and I'm back with two amazing co-hosts, except one is different this week. But before starting with, as usual, the man, the myth, the legend, and LotusOfDoom himself. How's it going, Lord?
I'm doing great, actually. The struggle bus has, well, I mean, it hasn't, fully departed, but I had one stop in Successville before blundering back into Battlespire and just constant failing, so...
That means...
I'm still good, though. I'm still riding high.
That means this episode's tales will be as fun as usual with your struggles, which is known now that it is my favorite. But joining us, those who are watching us live and in video format have already noticed who it is. Those of you who are listening this in audio formats, we have our founder back, the original host, Aggelos himself. How's it going, Ag?
I will have it pointed out that I, one, forced myself onto the podcast without Ark's real permission, and two, because I forced myself on, you'll notice I'm not an AD character like everyone else he invites onto the show.
I mean, honestly, if I had a bit more heads up, I would have definitely put a AD banner or something in your camera place.
Wow.
Wow.
Fair enough.
Then again, you have an open invite to the show, so you cannot force yourself into the show if you have an open invite.
That's true. And I was hoping after talking to you last week that you were able to join, because I know you had brought it up to me before, and then last week you were hanging out with your son, so that's why I was like, oh, this week might actually sync up. So sure enough, it did.
And that's what I brought up. And Ark, you may want to check your queue, your request queue.
What did you do? See, I normally disable. So again, for anyone, if you don't watch us live, you don't know what this is. But basically, on the stream, on the channel that we stream this, I have RGB lighting in the room. And I have a channel point thing set up that allows viewers to change my room to, a color of their liking. Now, I normally disable this before we start the podcast. However, this week, I was streaming before the podcast, so we went live directly, and I forgot to do it. And Ag is making me change my room's colors to his favorite alliance, the Almir Dominion. So everything is yellow now. But
I just wanted them to make sure they clearly represent that you are an AD nut.
Sure. Yeah, blame it on me for making the entire... I mean, if you go check this on YouTube or on our Twitch and look at Ag's camera, you can see that his room is pretty yellow itself. So I'm just saying.
Oh my god.
That's actually just because I have color correction on. So if I turn the color correction off, my room is a weird pale color. It's great.
So Ag's room originally wasn't even yellow, and he went ahead and went through the trouble of using color correction, so it was yellow. So I don't know what else I can say.
You have to see my awesome Mario World blanket.
I
don't know what else I can say.
That's my son's blanket, so
that's great. I saw that in the background earlier.
Yeah, oh my god, we are gonna get banned by Nintendo now.
Oh my god.
Lawsuit
incoming. Don't mention that.
Yep, I was gonna say. Yeah, that Barrio blanket. Definitely not
Barrio.
Copyrighted.
Not copyrighted. Do you know they actually copyrighted the Switch snap sound, and anyone who used the snap sound got their videos removed on YouTube?
I'm not surprised.
Just that click
sounds frustratingly on brand for Nintendo, who does not like their thing shared, but ouch.
So that is our, the classic intro into the show, I suppose, with Ag and myself fighting over who's more terrible.
Ark's like my younger brother, so of course I'm gonna fight with him. So it has to happen. And we also came to the conclusion in the pre-show. Was this in the 7-minute Well, yeah, where we talked about that Elfenir, or Guaranir,
Yes.
Guaranir has actually surpassed Arkaniir.
I meant to ask you, Ark, have you cleared Vmol on your tank yet?
Yes.
Damn it. Okay. I wasn't sure if you had cleared it yet, because I actually cleared it on Guaranir, so I was curious if I managed to pull ahead.
I did it with Lore Seekers. Back when we were doing dungeon trials.
Blast.
So.
All right. Woo. I couldn't remember, because I've gotten Guaranir through all the Vet Craglorns and managed to take out Vmol with him. So now I'm kind of fumbling my way through trials when somebody needs a fill-in DPS.
Yeah, so just barely saved by the bell again. But
right.
I mean,
because we were literally going to say he's supposed to be the fake Ark, but if he pulled ahead, that makes you the fake Ark.
One day, that's my new dream.
No, but here's the thing: you already, but I am pretty sure the achievements Guaranir has already surpassed the things I've done in the game. So. Because I mean, with your achievement addiction, I think that's a given.
So much.
Even if it's your side character, I feel like. I mean, didn't you make Guaranir the friggin' Emperor at some point?
Oh man, yeah. I've had
that
the quest
alone
to do that.
is like. I can't even start going for the Emperor because my connection just doesn't allow it. As soon as I'm in a crowd, my game just dies. So.
I know, that was too bad when you were getting ready to try to see if you could push, and then it was just like, oh, this runs like trash and totally doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, can't push for that if you can't get in those keep fights.
So, in terms of news, we don't have much this week because, again, waiting for Blackwood to release, and we only have one more week for it, except for Lotus, because he's on console. He's going to have to wait for another week. But those of us who are on PC Max Stadia will be getting the Blackwood Chapter in just about 7-8 days. So next episode, hopefully, we will be recording having jumped into the actual chapter.
So there's people who still play ESO on Stadia?
There are actually, because they pulled it from GeForce Now. Once they, made a deal with, I guess, Stadia. They didn't obviously say a reason for it, but that's the sort of guessed reason. So now Stadia is the only platform you can play ESO remotely. So people are still playing it because, doing your writs or getting your daily login rewards.
People love using it to get a daily login or do writs. That's I guess I know a lot of people who do that have a Stadia. They're just like, oh yeah, I just have the generic version of it. It's just like, oh yeah, I log in. It's like, oh, I got my daily. I either did my writs or I just grabbed my writs. It's like that, good enough. That pushed the thing off a day. It's like, all right, well, there you go. There's the prime use of a Stadia then, I guess.
So Materia also mentions
Stadia.
When my GPU died, I had to play on Stadia for a few months during this GPU drought. That actually makes a lot of sense.
That could be another one.
You legit cannot buy a GPU, so that makes a lot of sense.
So there's very specific scenarios that apparently the Stadia really hits that niche.
Yeah. And SD goes, oh god, writs without add-ons. I added oh god from the emote, but poor Lotus have been doing them on console without add-ons.
I was going to say, that must be rough.
Yeah, no sympathy for you at all.
Must be tough to do writs without add-ons and a 45-second login.
Oh man, login screens.
Oh man, not having it on a solid. So, slight tangent. When I play ESO, obviously I've got it on my solid state for my laptop, and the game logs in, and it's just like, boom, you're in. Boop, here's your thing. Blah blah blah. And then in the rare case I ever see this might be an unusually long load screen, it is shorter than non-unusually long load screens on console.
Yeah.
So it's really just
the next consoles, they come with SSDs, right?
They do, and unoptimized, they load in, it seems substantially faster. Like when we were CP grinding, the my buddy who was my Black Rose teammate for that, he would literally load out of Black Rose prison, reset the dungeon, walk back in by the time it took me to load the outside area. And that's like the unoptimized version. So it's just like that alone is like he was basically twice as fast as me. So yeah. Solid state drives for the win. It's really what it is.
Couldn't
So now
put
you
one
gotta
in a
find a PlayStation
PS4
5.
anyway?
So you can kind of fudge one in there at this point because I'm clearly not going to get my file transfer to PC, which breaks my heart. As you know, it's clearly not happening.
They have the technology already.
I know. I know, and I'm pretty sure at this point I've also kind of found out why. Cough, cough, Sony. What a surprise. But yeah, so I'm trying to see like if I can. The problem is it's like I can't even upgrade because PS5s are so rare. So it's like even if I want one, it's going to be a total fluke if I were to even find one of those things. But the like next gen version, like the you know upgrade they give you for free,
PS5 Pro or whatever.
yeah, it looks great. Like from what they, so it's like, oh, cool, and it runs at 60 frames. It's like, oh man, this looks great. I couldn't find one even if I wanted one. So it's like, I've got my eyes peeled, but I don't know. I still hope. Also, I'm not under fire if you hear weird sound effects. For some reason, on this non-holiday, all of my neighbors have decided to just set off fireworks, just FYI. I don't know if that's getting picked up on mic or not.
Not so far, no.
Okay, perfect.
Audacity is probably
'cause
picking
that
it
was
up.
like
but
straight up
your-
outside my window.
Yeah, Discord is not. I can
Okay,
edit it out.
perfect.
I can figure out a way to.
Sweet.
So yeah.
Wow.
So before we roll into the show, I want to give a couple shout outs this week to different people because you know they've been supporting the show in a different way. The first two is Ian on Twitter as well as Babblebait Podcast for constantly giving us shout outs on their weekly, you know, check these podcast posts. We may not be able to answer always, reply always, but we definitely see those. And thank you so very much for always supporting us because telling you a friend about us, as Ag used to say, really, really definitely helps spread the show. So there's that.
For sure.
Also, to everyone who comments on our YouTube, I am terribly bad at keeping up with those comments, unfortunately, because I log into like YouTube to check something, like watch something. I see the notification. I'm like, okay, I'll watch this, and then I'll reply. And because my brain goes haywire within seconds, and I get sidetracked, like I'm in an RPG doing side quests, I forget. But those comments, I read every single one of them, just so you know, even though I may not be able to reply every single time. So just wanted to say thank you to all who engage us in those different ways. They are definitely appreciated. And another thing I want to mention is, you know, we mentioned our video format, how we stream on Twitch. I basically reworked the entire overlay to hopefully something more pleasing.
It's stellar.
Yeah, I love it.
It's
very good.
I try to give it a more professional feeling than the previous, you know, my makeshift panels and everything like that. So hopefully those of you, you know, who watch this on YouTube or on Twitch will have a better experience. And I got our Patreon supporters up there scrolling on the screen. So thank you so very much. That's one of the ways I thought, okay, well, I could do that as well in addition to everything else for your support. So that is also appreciated. And that was all the things I wanted to mention this week. Now, as I mentioned before, we don't have really news. There's one reminder if you want the pre-purchase rewards of the next Blackwood Chapter, which involves the Velva Ravager mount, Dremora Kinreeve outfit, a Vamasu pet, 1 Iron Atronach crate, 3 Blackwood treasure maps, and 2 experience scrolls, of which, how powerful they are, it doesn't say. So if you want to have those things, you only have 1 more week left before you can pre-order Blackwood, so you can get the pre-order rewards. Want to mention that because I forgot to purchase it so far myself, and I kind of want the outfit. That's about it, really. That was the news.
Well, actually, SD did mention the most important part of news, which I posted that I unlocked it earlier for your daily login reports. The Netch hat. All hail the login Netch hat.
I missed it.
Oh wait, did I get that?
I didn't log in enough.
No, you're not going to get it in the end? Oh my God, Ark. You've squandered the best bonus.
Yes.
I was wearing it in trials tonight, and people were like, oh, cool skin. What is that on your head? I'm like, woo, Netch hat.
So,
Chat.
I was earlier today. Yeah. I'm pretty bummed about it. I don't have it. I don't have the Netch hat.
That
meme.
makes me very sad.
Me too.
I think I might even get it. And if I get it over Art, this is bigger problems.
I didn't have much to do in ESO this past couple of weeks. I mean, we haven't done a show either. I've been otherwise, my mind have been pretty preoccupied with some real life stuff over the past few weeks.
Yeah.
So
things have been dicey in reality on your end a bit.
All I've been doing really is watch Netflix, log into Star Citizen, and pew pew until I sleep in a spaceship. That's
that's accurate.
I didn't get the Netch hat.
Oh, but here lies the question. With no oxygen in space, the vacuum of space, there's nothing for sound to bounce off of. Therefore, would there really be a sound?
I can do pew pew in my spaceship. It's fine.
He's literally doing the pew pew voice because there's no sound in space.
There's no lasers. It's just pew 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 pew, and I'll shoot it.
You
guys ever watch the Lego movies?
Oh no, not me.
Okay, the Lego Batman movie is hilarious because they have their little guns that shoot, and the entire time they're jumping around, going pew 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 as they're shooting stuff.
That's Arkaniir's ship. Pew pew.
There's actually one of my favorite Skyrim mods is called Project Pew, and it replaces all of the arrow sounds.
I've seen this. Yes. Pew, pew,
and when you are doing the Civil War of Skyrim, where there's like the most amount of combatants around because you are sieging Whiterun and everything like that, it's just pew 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 pew.
Yep. That's a great mod.
Best mod.
There's another one where there's a video of somebody shooting down like a bird in the sky. And it's funny just because they had that mod on, and that was where I first found out about it. It was irrelevant to what the video was, but it was just like, pew! It's like, wait, what was that?
So I don't have the Netch handler hat yet, but I get it Monday.
Okay, nice. So you're able to still get it. You got plenty of time.
I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6 days of I could skip and still get it.
Nice. There you go. Good. Netch hat for the win.
I missed it one day.
Netch hat.
Like I logged in on I think Thursday.
Oh my God.
And it was gone with 1 day. Now it's 3 days. But yeah, I just missed it with one.
Yeah, I mean now you've lost all hope, so.
Yeah. I think the next time I'm on Tails, we should do it in ESO and all wear Netch hats.
All wear Netch hats.
Oh, poor Ark though.
Well, Dad, and I was gonna say you even have you've got you have a mud crab. Do you have a stuffed Netch?
No, I don't have the Netch. I have 2 mud crabs, 1 griffin, and 1
should all wear Netch hats in real life too.
I don't have a Netch hat.
Oh, yeah. I could do the Netch hat in real life. Yeah.
That actually, I was talking about it on stream earlier. That's one of the earliest memes from ESO Live. Is when one of the developers, I think it was one of the combat team, I don't remember his name, when he put on the Netch hat during ESO Live, and that was one of the earliest memes from the ESO community. And yeah, if you search
Netch
for
hat.
ESO Live meme Netch hat, it should pop up. And the exact forum post, if I remember correctly, is when you don't want to get memed, because the guy put the Netch hat on his head, and I just went, I hope they don't meme this, and obviously everyone memed it. So,
well, that's the Streisand effect right there. Immediately trying to hide something, everyone's gonna jump on it.
Yep.
I hope I don't get memed, and it was just, it's inevitable from that point.
Yep, you're done for at that point.
Yeah.
By the way, did any of you watch the latest ESO live with the?
I heard it was funny, but unfortunately, they run them when I'm at work. So that's.
I was gone. I don't know what I was doing. Was I awake? Was I asleep? Who knows?
I know it was.
But I missed it.
So I was going to say. So the interview was with Brad Derrick though, which is awesome because Brad Derrick's music is awesome. He's a fantastic musician. So. I was kind of bummed that I missed it, and I haven't had time to watch the VOD on it. But I do know that that was, the premise of it. I heard it was like a good interview. But yeah, unfortunately, ESO Live runs before I'm ever out of work, unless I for some reason have the day off. It's way too early in the day for me.
Mm-hmm. I normally watch it between, during Saturday before the show, but. Yeah, I went out of my way and decided to stream this time, and I was like, in the middle of the stream, I was like, oh wait, how do I watch ESO Live now? I'm streaming. So yeah, I wanted to talk about it because I'm pretty sure there were great bits and pieces from it in terms of information, but
embarrassing confession. I'm not even following ESO on my new Twitch channel.
So I'm not entirely sure if that, so if you want to feel better about yourself, I was trying to change the volume and accidentally unfollowed Arkaniir's Quest and refollowed it during the show already. So
oh great. Yeah, fantastic.
So I'm your newest follower. Never been here before. It's my first day.
Yeah. Who are you? Who's this guy?
I just barged into the Discord.
That's right. That's right.
And was it which you interviewed one of the Bethesda composers back in several years ago?
Enan Zur.
Oh my god,
right,
I love
it was
that
Enan Zur. Yeah.
Yep. Also, I love Enan Zur.
Yeah. No. I met him in London with Nate, aka Misa, who. Does he still come on the show periodically? I don't know if he does.
No, because we record in the middle of the night for UK. If we ever figure out a way to record this at a decent time, I want to invite him back badly. Because the last episode we recorded with him, my entire audio went up in flames. The entire episode was basically unsalvageable. I learned a lot that week about audio editing, but nothing... Yeah. I figured out that you can edit audio in 3D. You can represent audio waveforms in 3D and edit it that way and stuff like that. But nothing I did. Yeah, it's strange. I don't remember. It's like Spectrum something editing. And it basically splits the waveform into a 3D representation. And you can edit it in different frequencies that way. It's, I don't know, man. I couldn't salvage it. I'm really sad.
Well... Anyway, Ark was also invited, but said no. I don't want to interview Enan. No, I'm just kidding. There were other issues there.
I'm gonna fly from here to England to visit Bethesda offices and interview Enan. I can't be bothered by that.
But I got to meet Nate in London, which was really, really cool. And we got to go to the Bethesda offices. I do believe I still have pictures of both him and I wearing the power armor helmet because that had to happen. And there's pictures of us with Enan Zur in front of the Fallout not memorial. Seems like a memorial for Fallout 76, which came out briefly afterwards, and we all know what happened with that.
I was gonna say there was a memorial for like pretty much an entire year before that game became functional.
Right. So, but yeah, no, that was super cool. We got to meet him. Then we went to the after party after the War Child UK concert, which was also really, really fun. Trying to interview people in a pub where everyone was pretty much blasted was also really fun. So yeah, no, it was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, it was I think it's like 177, I think is the episode. Maybe?
Yeah,
it's 70 something. I just don't remember which one it is. But yeah, Enan Zur is who I interviewed with Nate. It was fantastic. So yeah.
Well, maybe we should try to get Brad on this show. And
yeah, his stuff is because he's got some really memorable stuff in ESO. I really love Markarth's soundtrack specifically. That one I just thought was like exceptionally good. So
honestly, all the main themes for chapters have been big, I guess not seasonal, but zone transition themes. They've been all great, and the way like they all get incorporated into what the theme of the chapter is also great. One is dark, one is more more upbeat, and it's
definitely.
And I mean that's definitely part of what they will say is part of creating the music is they love to see. And if you go back and listen to the Enan Zur, he talks about having to try to get a feeling for what the game is and the atmosphere in order just to try to figure out what kind of theme he wants to do with his music. And it's amazing, to be honest.
I mean, this is, we won't go too much into the Fallout side of things, but specifically with Fallout 4, the way because he was the composer to Fallout 4, as if that wasn't obvious where I was going with that. But
and Blades.
Yep. Oh my God. I love the Blades theme. That is like, oh my God. So my fingers are crossed that, I mean, Brad Decker would be great too, but it's like, if Enan Zur were to do Elder Scrolls 6 in the year, 3045 when it actually comes out, that would be like, they'll just have to freeze him, obviously.
Ark and I had this exact same conversation because I've been playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, which everyone should play, by the way. I'm not being paid to say that. They're just fantastic, and I want them to make a second game because they need to. Anyway, we were talking about Kingdom Come Deliverance, and I said how long the game is. Like I recorded footage for my YouTube channel today. I did 5 different episodes, and it was about 7 hours of footage. That doesn't even include where I restarted because I died. So, and I said, I'm not even halfway through the game yet. And he's like, well, I really want to get into this game, but I'm just afraid of jumping into it. I think the next time will be Elder Scrolls 6. And I'm like, dude, you could play Kingdom Come Deliverance and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which hasn't even been announced yet, before Elder Scrolls 6 comes out.
That's very true. And that's the thing, I know the speculation about us potentially getting a Starfield announcement at this E3 and blah, blah, blah. But just in general with like the upcoming, we want another Fallout, we want another Elder Scrolls game. So now that Fallout 76 is largely working and people actually on whole enjoy it, that's not going anywhere because now that makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls Online is hugely popular and makes a lot of money. They're not going to dip into their own pools of players to release another game. Like either of these products will definitely need to at least be somewhat on the decline or at least stagnant and not growing before they're going to want to do that, just from a business perspective. Or that's a really strange move that I would never expect out of a company to be like, yeah, you know what? We'll just tap into our own market. It's like, that's that would be a strange move.
and you know what's actually funny? That was the exact same thing I said about Elder Scrolls 6, even before it was announced.
Yeah.
Because I said, with ESO, here's the thing. That game you'll buy once. Well, unless it's Skyrim, then you'll buy it 20 times.
Yeah, exactly. But
releasing Skyrim everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Once it's available on toasters, then we'll be done.
Yeah, maybe. TI-84 calculators, Skyrim
here's
edition.
the thing. Go ahead.
But ESO keeps making money because every month, because with cosmetics and stuff like that, ESO Plus, that's a constant revenue stream.
Right. And then
every time, and every year,
and it's like there's
quarterly.
so much. Yeah, and then quarterly DLCs. It's like
here's something you guys are not
their own
taking
money
into account though. What's that? You can play ESO inside Elder Scrolls 6?
Oh my god.
We're just going meta here.
Oh my god.
Elder Scrolls
you take a potion. I assume Elder Scrolls 6 will take place sometime in 4th era. So you take a potion, much like the flashback quests in Elder Scrolls Online, it puts you back in time to 2nd era, and it just logs into ESO on your character.
So you can log into Elder Scrolls 6 in order to log in to ESO. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it.
There you go.
I just like you said, it's the problem is let us be 100% obvious honest here. Most of the people playing ESO are not MMO players, but are Elder Scrolls fans.
Hey, right? That's me.
Also me.
So
he's talking about me.
I'm an oddity there. I actually I was more of an MMO player than an Elder Scrolls fan. How many years? Like I also do an Iron Man Morrowind run on my stream with a good friend of mine, my theology partner. People are still modding that game.
Yep.
Yeah.
20 some years later. Like the audience for Morrowind is insane. And the Skyrim is insane. No one likes Oblivion, and I applaud them for not liking Oblivion, but
wow.
It's Morrowind and Skyrim. People still play those. Like you go to Twitch right now, I bet you there's more people playing like Skyrim right now than a lot of other games. It's got to be up there. I mean, you're not going to beat like the Call of Duty and the Fortnite, but it's got a respectable number of people still playing Elder Scrolls 5.
Oh yeah,
they will play that for years. So and especially if modding is available, which who knows? And I will say this is going to be controversial, but I'm going to say it. I think Elder Scrolls 6 will not have modding.
No. I disagree.
No, hold on. Without something like the Fallout 76 version of like the play or whatever that Player Plus modding is or whatever, where it's a paid subscription type thing.
Okay, so I was thinking along that line. I'm not totally opposed to that. I think you might be onto something because the Creation Club has become such a thing. So it's like, and that's even with Skyrim, they like put in official stuff. So it's like, I think that's going to become much more of the focus, and maybe they'll have some type of like community thing where people can submit it and they get like a part of like sales for it. Because that's kind of how it works with popular ones now. They so them kind of branching more into that, I absolutely think would probably be what they would aim to do for the most part.
It might not be worth the backlash though. Because with the Creation Club, they took a massive backlash when they first announced mods can be sold now, and good God, there was a storm there.
But what happened? What happened to that outrage?
What happened?
It's still there.
It's still there, but they had to agree that, Nexus mods and everything would still run, and most of the major mod creators still decided to keep their mods free and as a donationware. That's what happened.
Yeah, there definitely is, but more people, especially from, so here's like the other side, especially from the console side of things, where that console people I don't mod stuff, it's just not really my interest, but like once consoles started to be allowed to have mods, you now have to have, like, you can't just Nexus mod an Xbox.
Right.
Like, it doesn't work like that. So
Yep.
they
That's
actually generate a lot of revenue through both the PlayStation Store, which we'll see how that whole thing goes as time goes by. Now Microsoft owns them. But yeah, console gaming, I think, is a strong push for a centralized hub. You know, you can keep it Creation Club, you can name it something different, you can call it the Microsoft Happy Fun Fest if you want. Whatever they decide to rebrand it, I think that will, like, I definitely think that's going to be part of their model going forward, because the community is definitely there for modding, but I think they've wanted to try regulating it for so long, and the Creation Club was kind of this weird hybrid of like, okay, we are doing this, but we'll be nice about it and still allow an open source thing as well. Be curious to see as time goes on where that will go exactly.
Right.
But
you're not getting rid of it. The fact the outrage.
They won't be able to get rid of the free version at all. Like, not,
I'm
just
sure
completely disable external modifications like free mods or anything, and just force, okay, it has to be on our platform and it has to be paid. If they do that, that's just going to be a PR nightmare. Now, will there be a paid platform? Probably, but it's going to be an option.
Yeah, I just think the focus will definitely be there on having that more than like. I think that will become the standard rather than the deviation from the like, oh, you're on Nexus mods or you're on whatever. Whereas that was kind of the standard, and then it was like, or there's Creation Club. I think it'll probably be pushed inverted next time, unless I'm very, I would just assume that would be how it would probably.
You also have to remember, they now have Microsoft, and when has Microsoft ever cared what anyone ever thinks?
Actually, Microsoft's PR is really good. Microsoft cares about PR like a lot.
Well, I was
care about PR, but they're gonna spin it in a way that it's gonna work for them.
The thing with Microsoft recently is they have an easy time kind of being the good guy recently, because Sony keeps softballing them like, hey, we're the worst. And it's like, Microsoft's just like, okay, we're just not going to do that. Like, we're not even going to do anything inventive. We're just not going to do that to everybody. And everybody's like, oh man, Microsoft is great because they didn't do that. It's like, okay, Sony, could we stop lowballing these over the plate? Like, what are we doing here? Like, come on.
Making this
Microsoft
easy.
In the recent years, they had their, fair share of studio killer activities in the past.
For sure.
In the recent years, they've been really consumer friendly with their policies. I mean, Xbox Pass is absolutely amazing for its price. The Game Pass is fantastic. They don't force exclusives on, like, this only works on Xbox. No, everything is cross-compatible with PC and Xbox on Windows.
And PlayStation when PlayStation allows it.
Yeah.
And they have the policy which is, against loot boxes, as in they need to be earnable in the game, which is probably why we are getting Endeavors now, which is amazing.
It's 100% why. Absolutely 100% why.
Microsoft... In the past, they had their issues, but recently they've been really consumer friendly.
Right.
It's when they were leading as the market leader with the 360, they didn't need to pay much attention. Well, now last gen they got trounced by Sony, so like they kind of recorrected the ship. Phil Spencer also seems a little more grounded in reality than some of the older guard.
Yeah.
And that's just it. It's like, they're a business. Obviously, they're still trying to make money, and they are. But most of their policies, and again, especially when the comparison is, without getting too into like, weird console stuff, but like Sony's documents came out in this whole cluster of a case related to the Apple and Fortnite with Epic. We're not going to get into that, but some of the documents that have come out where Sony charges companies for crossplay if they sell too much on other platforms. I'm like,
oh wow,
what are you guys, like, twirling mustache evil? Like, what is the matter with you? Like, and it's like, it makes other companies like look better just because they're so consumer unfriendly. The real crutch that Sony has going for them is, man, do they make really impressive exclusives like God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn, and
which I just got for free the other week.
Yeah.
So I've been playing that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, oh my god, so good.
Yeah, I might have a crush on Awa, so that's fine.
Oh my god, that game's so good.
Yeah. But anyway, as I was saying, Elder Scrolls.
How did we get here?
It's all good. No, it's perfectly, and it makes sense. How we got there, and like you said, with consoles and everything. First off, everyone, I've heard people go, "Oh, thank you, Zos, for giving us the endeavors." It was not some altruistic thing. It was because Microsoft made them. Yeah, I'm not saying Microsoft is thank you, Microsoft, not thank you, Zos. Zos would never have done this if Microsoft didn't say you can't. I'm sorry.
If it's against policy, like that's just it. And it's like I'm very much of super means to an like ends as opposed to means type of thing. So like, great. Yeah. This is just all around great stuff. Love it.
It's great. No, I just give the thanks where it's actually due, and it's not due to Zos. It's due to Microsoft.
I'm pretty hopeful that the acquisition here at being stranded on the Sony platform, I'm pretty hopeful that things are actually. I actually think Microsoft has the potential to do some good for some of the games that I really enjoy. Even if I get to just like have the, single tear roll down my cheek while I have my hand on the window. Like
even the rats have abandoned your ship already. You're still on it. You're still on it. But yeah, going back to what I was saying earlier, the second Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, regardless of mods or anything of that nature, you know how long, even with the base game, people played Skyrim and continue. Elder Scrolls Online will die when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out.
Disagree. Here's why I disagree that Elder Scrolls 6
you
will
can
kill Elder Scrolls
disagree.
Online.
You could be wrong.
Yeah, but here's the thing. A lot of Elder Scrolls Online's audience came from playing the single-player Elder Scrolls games. So at the point of where Elder Scrolls Online's audience starts to diminish, starts to decline, if they release Elder Scrolls 6, yes, for a while Elder Scrolls 6 is hot and about, everyone's playing it, it will kill for several months. It will kill Elder Scrolls Online. But once people are done with Elder Scrolls 6, and I know we played Elder Scrolls games for several years after they launched constantly over and over again, but that doesn't make the 100% of the Elder Scrolls player base. Not everyone goes back to the same game, mod it, or play it vanilla several hundred times.
I don't mod Skyrim at all, so...
Yeah.
Well, and so what I think is, what Elder Scrolls 6 will release at some point, it will, for a while, kill Elder Scrolls Online, because everyone playing Elder Scrolls Online will jump into Elder Scrolls 6. Whether if they were originally Elder Scrolls fans or not, because now they are, they will at least be curious, like, oh, okay, I've been playing Elder Scrolls Online for several years now. How is the single-player game? Because I know people who never went back to older Elder Scrolls titles, even Skyrim. So after that, the Elder Scrolls audience, the Elder Scrolls 6 audience, will start going into withdrawals very hard. And they'll be like, well, okay, I finished this game 7 times within a month. Might as well jump into ESO now.
Right.
Share that hype with people in ESO. So I think it's going to be
curious
sort of a
how long
pendulum.
It will pull people away. Because like
several
I know
months,
some people are using it for like a
server.
fill-in. And to your point, like a lot of people in my trials and stuff like that, they've never played an Elder Scrolls game. Still, they're like, I don't know. I don't care. I just do this. It's the same thing with PvP. A lot of PvPers, but again, not to get into the PvP mess again, but if PvP doesn't get substantial love and care, I mean, when they get a replacement, they'll just go elsewhere. You know what I mean? It's like multiplayer was much more of a focus at launch for this game than it has been since then. And it's like, personally, I'm fine with that. I still enjoy PvP a bunch, but it's just like, it's an afterthought because when you're trying to make money as a company, you allocate your resources to what pays back.
Right.
And I know there are people play PvP. I know people like PvP. There's a loud portion of people who play PvP, but it's just not the same. Like, I get it that they feel ignored, and I understand it, but it's like, it's a small community compared to
They don't
PvP.
feel ignored. They are ignored.
They are ignored.
Yeah, there's no feeling about it. This is not relative. This is objective.
Right. And it's like the proc testing has been the most recent thing. But prior to that, the last thing that was added, as far as I know, was Volendrung, which came out with Elsewhere.
Yeah.
So, and then before that was Battlegrounds with whatchamacallit?
Somerset.
Morrowind.
Oh yeah, Morrowind. Yeah.
Morrowind. Yep. Which I like Cyrodiil. Battlegrounds I'm very lukewarm on.
I have a
Those
Stockholm
arcs
syndrome
after
with
playing them
Battlegrounds,
8,000 times for a shield.
I hated them. Now I like them because
It's Stockholm syndrome. You've been in them so much that now you're like the guy who kidnaps you. Yes, would you like me to get you tea? Sure.
months of grinding for that stupid shield. God, I unintentionally got good at Battlegrounds.
Ark, my sweet summer child. You know nothing of months of grinding in an MMO.
I don't know, man.
I grinded
that shield grind
the
was
same
pretty...
raid every single week for 3.5 years in WoW in order to get one mount.
My God. I don't understand WoW.
3.5 years every week, just once.
It was a 6-hour raid.
Oh God!
Woof. Raids were sick. Good.
Yeah, the original raids were as the years went on and more expansions came out and your power level went up, it was less time, but they were still big. Yeah, no, raids had week lockouts.
I've heard
meaning you could stop on Tuesday. It would reset. You go and kill bosses, and then you could stop. Come back in another day as long as you did it before the next reset. It would be exactly where you were at. When I was actively raiding, I was raiding Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8 p.m. until 1 a.m. every Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yikes. Yeah, that is like a
on one raid.
Yeah.
On one raid.
Now, granted, once we get into Tales, I'll be regaling you with my horrific journey of Cloud Rest. But like we do 2-hour stints. Like it's 2 hours, you break, 2 hours.
You couldn't even get to the boss in some of the raids in 2 hours. You just cleared trash for 2 hours.
This is why I never played World of Warcraft. Screw that.
Were there checkpoints, or did you have to do that all at one thing? Sorry, this is becoming the World of Warcraft thing, but I'm like...
No. The only checkpoint was when you actually downed the boss. If you didn't down the boss, the trash respawned and you had to do it again.
Yeah. That is involved.
I don't like.
Also, before we move
now,
on,
I'm talking Cataclysm and back. The later, it got more and more casual friendly. Like you could probably do. Now, again, that also depends on how well you know all the trials and because there's mechanics in all these games, right?
Sure.
So, and they're pretty intense. So once you learn the dance, you could get it down to a single night. And once you were geared up and stuff like that, but it was still a long night to do most of these bigger raids. Now they've since done away with that, and they do what are called wings now, which are more self-contained, stuff. It's not this huge sprawling thing anymore. And with Raid Finder, they nerfed a lot of things. But yeah, it was still very difficult back in the day. Or time-consuming. It was difficult, but time-consuming.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Difficult in the terms of getting people organized for that long and getting them to sit through that. Like that is in and of itself a degree of difficulty.
The vanilla raids were 40 people.
Yeah, that's another thing. The numbers I know are like,
even all the way up to Cataclysm was 25.
That's
I don't like that.
How do you? I love the idea of that, but I hate the practice. Getting 12 people together that are
Yeah.
organized enough to do something that's incredibly difficult is something I'm very
Imagine
glad
the
other
twins
people
fight,
do,
but with 40
so I can
people.
join them. Yeah, it's just,
It's
oh my
that would be a
lord.
nightmare.
That's
Right?
nothing. I'm playing Albion online right now. And some of these guilds, when they do their PvP, this is a big. They don't even call their PvP PvP. They call it ZVZ because it's Zerg v Zerg.
Right.
It's not uncommon. Even a small raid in Albion is like 90 people.
Okay, see that you get. I am.
That's a
I-
small
God.
raid.
I always bring up the fact that I'm a filthy Zergling. Nothing makes me happier than Zerg PvP, and I know people can't stand it, and it is my favorite.
It depends. I like Zerg PvP in Guild Wars 2. I don't like it in
Mhm.
ESO because in Guild Wars 2 there are cooldowns, right? So you can, even in a Zerg, there is some sort of a structure feeling. Because if you know what you are looking for, if someone is keeping an eye out on for things, you can sort of determine who is doing what, who is out of their skills, and have to pull back for a bit. There's some sort of structure, but in ESO, everything is spammable. So when you're in a Zerg, you just see the same skill 7 million times cast by 30 different people in a non-stop manner. Like 5 people doing executioner on someone, poor guy on the ground. Several people just bolt escaping left and right infinitely. We just lost Lotus. But hello? Ag? Oh no, what's happening? Something is forked. We just lost the call. Yeah, Lotus was like,
Hey.
All right, there we go.
there we
That
go.
was-
What just happened
that was-
there?
All right, so all this time I've been saying that Ark's been kind of robot-y periodically,
yeah.
but the call just dropped. And I'm like, it wasn't just me. It was
No.
everyone.
Mine totally froze completely. I'm like,
Oh,
we're
and it was fantastic because everyone's face. All right, I got to take my glasses off for this because this is great. So Ark's face was like this. And Lotus was like this. It was fantastic. It was amazing.
Yep.
For
Yeah,
me,
it
you
hard
guys
froze.
were still moving, but
Yeah,
not
so
saying
that was the-
anything.
You had such a quizzical face on, and Ark kind of looked constipated. It was fantastic.
So, okay, for audio listeners, that's not going to make any sense, but we basically just lost the call and had to
And
regroup
So
and
for
things like
audio
that.
listeners, please go to the Dungeon Crawler Network YouTube channel and watch the video again. That's how you tie that in, Ark. Double
And-
dip on the.
I was gonna say,
On the
watch our
views.
inquisitive looks.
So, what did you hear last? Because I was talking about Guild Wars 2's
I heard.
PvP.
Yeah, you just started to defend Guild Wars 2 because it had cooldowns in the Zerg, and ESO was, and that was the end.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, ESO is all spammable, basically. So,
Yeah.
So what
A
I was
spammable
saying
nightmare.
is, in Guild Wars 2, because there are cooldowns, even in a Zerg, you see a certain structure in it. You can maintain a grasp on what the hell's happening on the battlefield, even when 2-3 Zergs clash with each other. In ESO, because everything is completely spammable, all you see is like 10 dudes just executioner on one poor sword, or 7 sorcerers just bolt escaping left and right, Nightblade spamming whirlwind.
Okay,
It's
so
just
far we've
mess.
discussed the fact that Nightblade should be deleted and Sork should be deleted, but everybody else seems fine.
That's a whole different topic, but yes, those things should happen. But it's just the fact that it is all spammable based, I don't like in ESO, and I don't like
Sure.
it when it's Zergs. I don't even like it when it's a small scale PvP like Battlegrounds. But in a Zerg, it just goes even worse because I don't know. I feel like I don't have a grasp on the overall battlefield in ESO Zergs because everyone just spamming a certain skill. Nothing makes sense. You can't really prepare for something because everyone infinitely can cast anything. if given their builds are meta.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much of an issue, although you need to kind of be on comms with everybody. But like when we're sieging keeps, I don't care if there's 60 people in the keep and they're all firing crap. If you know how to time like negates in a field so that you can just neutralize the opposing side and then swoop in at your time, it's I don't know. I've had a lot of management over massive zergs. Like back, when I ran with my PvP guild, there'd be 80 of us, and it would just be us swarming with when you can only have 24 people in a thing, we had to do like 20, 20, 20, 20. And you would have like, okay, this is like the negate group, and it would be like a bunch of negate sorks and then a bunch of bombers, and the bombers would hold back, and then like they'd have like a bunch of tanks squatted, and we'd like go in, we'd get all the distraction, we'd eat all the damage to the face, and while they're paying attention to us, you try to coax them to like run out of the gate, and then all the sorks come in, negate everybody, and then the bombers come in and bomb them. But it's like that was way more organization than I could ever do. Like I knew what my role was and how to chip in, but it was like I cannot it helped that basically the people who ran that guild were all ex-military, so I was you tell me what to do, I don't understand this, like this is way deeper than I understand, so you direct, I'll just follow. So but that's like I don't have anything like that anymore. Like none of my guilds do anything even remotely like that anymore. It's just slam into wall, hope to kill the things, and it's like, yeah, that's like you say, that's just kind of a cluster where it's like, hopefully these people die if we all aim at the same one at the same time, type of thing.
Yeah, I guess if I had a guild experience like that, yeah.
Ark, were you ever a part of the infamous portal bombing?
Even I've heard of that.
Portal bombing.
So
I don't remember it.
Portal. Here's the thing. So because there was a thing called culling, CULLY or ING. Yeah. It was because of the network code, you couldn't render all the people at the same time, even though they were physically there. It would cause massive slowdown when they all started popping in. So what someone would do, they would use a mesmer. They would run into the middle of an enemy Zerg, drop a portal down, and then their Zerg would all port through the portal into the middle and just start spamming their AoE abilities, which had no cap, by the way. Yep. And it froze people because they couldn't react. But all they were doing was sitting there spamming a button, and it would murder the group.
That is rough. Clever.
I don't think so. I mean,
rough.
all I did when I used to play Guild Wars 2 was world versus world versus world. And I don't think I ever encountered that.
Wov. That's what they called it. Wov. They didn't call it WWW. Wov.
Who's got time to call it that anyway? Yeah, Wov makes sense.
Don't ask me. That's the arena net
WWE.
You're right.
Yeah.
Also, so we kind of got off on these tangents. One of the things that I threw in the notes last minute because it was brought up in chat. We totally did forget the one piece of quote unquote news, although it's really short to mention because it's a preview more than it's a thing yet. Is Chip Theory Games is making a tabletop Elder Scrolls Online game.
Oh,
like
where's that mentioned?
Yes, licensed. Yeah. There's more information coming. If you go to the actual site, it's basically like if you want to be contacted as soon as we have more information, give us your email address. But it's it was promoted. It was sent out by
game.
Yep, it was from ESO official and everything. But yeah, it's called Chip Theory Games in combination with Microsoft and ZeniMax and all that stuff. So it looks like
I haven't
it's all
seen
officially
people
licensed.
in months. Who am I gonna play a board game with?
Well, but maybe by the time it comes out, everybody will be able to see each other again.
What is sitting around the table with actual physical people?
Right. Everybody's just really got depth perception problems, just poking pieces in each other's faces, trying to place them down on the board and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, so that's a thing coming out, but there's very little information on it yet. So
Yeah, well, that could be really nice. My friend had
Sure.
backed up like the Dark Souls one and the Game of Thrones one, so they can be really, really fun.
What is the Dark Souls board game? You literally open it and die?
Yeah,
it's
you
just,
just, actually,
it
yeah,
just
you open
dumps
the box,
Legos on
and
the
the first
floor.
thing you see is you died. This is they place it on the top. You just open it box and it says you
You
died.
have died.
I don't know
You
how
roll
to
the
play it.
dice.
I don't know if it
If it
came out. It
equals
was on
anything
Kickstarter.
other than 1, you die. Well, there's 2 dice. It can equal 1. Yeah.
Yep. I just assume it's like a box of Legos. They fall on the ground and then you can't help but step on them. So you're just always miserable.
Legos covered in super glue, so when they fall and hit the ground, you can't remove them.
you can't unstep on them. Yep. That's it. That sounds like the game.
Yeah.
I don't.
That
know,
reminds me
it
of
sounds
the
great
Viva
to
La
me.
Dirt League Souls Logic one. You ever watch those Souls Logic?
Oh
No.
yeah, I love them.
Oh, they're
is
so fantastic. They're perfect. Love them.
They just
Love
recently
'em.
came out with the short movie too, Balin's Route, the 30-minute short movie. So they made a
Yeah.
full movie for the fishermen, basically. Good morning.
Yeah, I did
Nice
see
day for
that.
fishing, ain't it? Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, we are an hour into the show, so instead of news, we basically discussed everything that's going on with the Elder Scrolls world, I guess.
Yeah, in general. Hey, I was gonna say that's news. The whole if we don't have individual game news, we have all-encompassing Elder Scrolls.
Exactly.
news.
I just don't know how to name episodes like this because I can't go around naming an episode a paragraph. Just go like Microsoft news rediscussed, Elder Scrolls 6 like possibilities. Will Elder Scrolls kills Elder Scrolls Online?
Yeah,
Will
the
there be
Elder Bomb.
mods?
Exactly.
The Elder Bomb. Like the portal bombs we talked about, the Elder Bomb.
See, right on brand.
I guess I'll just say
Elder.
all things Elder Scrolls or something like. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
things
Maybe one of
Bethesda,
us will
because we
say
discussed
Elder
Fallout 2.
Bomb.
It's... I should find like a specific name for these kind of episodes and just name
You
them.
can even
that.
use a picture of a Templar solar nova as your image and call it the Elder Bomb. There.
I'll just call the
Already
episode.
one more skill than most Templars use against me in PvP. Jabs.
Jabs.
Uh,
What do you do? Jabs.
Jabs.
oh well, let's roll into Tales and Ag.
Yeah.
Since it's been a while since we
Wait,
last.
me first?
Hell yeah.
Do you want
I was gonna say,
Lotus
what
to
have you
go
been
first?
up to?
I don't have much Tales now. I just did random dungeons, random dungeons, random dungeons, random dungeons, random dungeons. That's all I did. So I don't have much. But
Mine
it's
will
either
be
you or
very-
Lotus. If you want
Yeah,
painful
mine will be
stuff,
happy
we are gonna
and then
go with
just a lot
Lotus.
of
If you want
swearing,
story, we are gonna go with you.
Okay. All right. So, it has been a while since I've come on and I started playing Elder Scrolls Online again. And first off, I've got to say, okay, I'm gonna, when I left before Elsewhere came out, but then I think I played Elsewhere for a little bit because I was like kind of halfway done with the first Southern or Northern Elsewhere, not Southern
Yeah.
Elsewhere, Northern Elsewhere.
Northern, because
Um,
you joined us when you were going through Elsewhere. There was an episode where you joined us for a show, and you were
Yeah,
You were-
yeah.
There was that quest in the caves with the funny quest, skooma something.
Yep.
I don't.
Oh yeah, with the one who's saying how she's like he's a bad mage.
Yeah,
I love it.
that one, and then Razumdar's family home.
Oh yes.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I actually have a video on the YouTube channel
Yep,
about
that's
that
when
with
you
the
last joined us.
the ladies. Yeah, I do remember
Yeah.
the ladies.
Mm-hmm.
All that reminded me of that entire scene was the scene from Shrek 3 with Puss in Boots on the docks. I must go, but you are the love of my life. And you. And I don't know you, but I'd like to.
Yep.
Also, now that you mentioned Shrek, so quick thing. One thing Zas did this past week
You mentioned
was
Shrek. Exhausted.
they released another coloring book series for the Blackwood chapter, like they did last year. And someone in the community turned Mehrunes Dagon into freaking Shrek.
Yeah,
and it's the best thing I've seen. It is.
Yeah.
It is absolutely amazing. Whoever did that, well done. You have after all the thirst for Dagon, you just doubled it up.
Yep.
Yeah. Well done.
All right. So back to Northern Elsewhere. All right. So I was running around in the Stitches. Okay. You remember where the Stitches is?
Oh yeah.
Did anyone else not love to death the drunk Alfiq mage?
Oh, yes. The drunk elf mage is like one of the best characters.
She is amazing. She's just a passed out drunk kitten.
And she botches her spells because she's drunk all the time, and she's like, "Oops, didn't mean to port you there." And it's, yes, that character is incredible. She was a house guest briefly that you could have in your house.
Oh man.
Yep.
I would have known that. I would have.
I know. I forget when that came up, but yeah. Oh man, so great. Yes, but I do remember her. She's fantastic.
Oh, I love that drunk cat. And it's actually really funny because it also ties in to a second Alfiq you meet in Southern Elsewhere, obviously with what's his name, Scordo, the knife.
Oh yes,
the orc that you met in Orsinium, because you meet that whole crowd again from Orsinium, which again is why I highlighted in your chat, Lotus, that ESO expansion order.
Yes,
going play these things in order, or else it doesn't make sense.
Right, because you meet him in Daggerfall, then Hrothgar, and then you've got him. It's like, and they do a good job of usually making them remember you. It's not like super in depth, but they'll like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. How you doing from whatever? How have you been? Blah blah. It's just kind of cool that they reference that. It's a neat little touch.
You actually get extra dialogue if you've done the quest. Going, what have you been up to? Since we met last, and they tell you a little bit. So that's why I know they kind of, and sorry, Eric, I'm popping this in chat again, which doesn't really matter. Sure. I'm going to copy this for everyone who hasn't found this, but I'm just going to post that as a Reddit link. It's an image.
Very helpful thing in the Blackwood chapter is that in the new tutorial, you can select where you start. So you can either say, okay, I'm going to start in the latest, I'm going to start in Blackwood. You can select, I'm going to start whatever elsewhere. And you can say, okay, I'm going to start the base game start. So it no longer drops you into the latest zone without your choice, but it actually finally gives you a choice as to how you want to do it. Like if you want to start at the very beginning or if you want to start at the very end.
So do yourself a favor and start with base game. It's totally worth it.
Yeah, and that is a flow chart, and it is very helpful. But do you remember the Alfiq that joined Scordo the Scar? And actually, as you free her and her group, she's like, I'm gonna stay with him. He's so handsome. And,
yes,
those calves. It's like, because cats like to rub up against your calves, and she's like, oh, he's so handsome. And the deep rumbling purr, those calves. And he's like, oh yeah, the Alfiq could stay with me. The flirting's a little weird, but it's just so weird. And I love it so much. I want her. Like, I just do.
The Alfiq are a great addition. Like, they're goofy enough that it adds like an element of humor. But since they've always just been in the series and never explored, they're like, I don't know, I thought they were a great goofy addition where it's like they gave them all like really good personalities as Alfiq, and it's just kind of funny having like little mini kitties running all over the place.
So also dealing with the whole issue with if you killed what's his face? Help me out
Lyris.
Here. I didn't kill Lyris, you monster.
Sigh.
I actually killed Varen because I felt that was the most I mean, I liked Varen, but I mean, it kind of was all his fault.
I mean, it totally was his fault.
Yeah. So many want an Alfiq race. I see in chat. Yeah, I mean, yeah. But I can understand why they wouldn't do it, because technically then we're getting into weird things that aren't even Elder Scrolls. I mean, I know Alfiq are in the lore, but they were meant to be, I think they were meant to be rarer than what we saw them in ESO.
Yeah, and it's because you went to their homeland that because you still don't really see them anywhere else. Like,
no, they're very, very few, far between.
Yeah.
I can't stand Sai. He's a pain in the butt. I love how they tied in the red dragon that Tiber Septim uses.
Nafi.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I love him. And I also love the captain of the ship.
Oh, he's
Zaji?
Zaji is like my... I actually think I said I like Zaji more than I like Razumdar. And I know everyone went dead silent.
Wow.
Raji is fan-freaking-tastic. And I love the way he is like shunned by his family. What? I just happened to steal a sacred bell. I didn't know they needed it. Oh, I love Zaji. He is probably one of my favorite characters that ever appeared in ESO. Like, he is Zaji, the Dragon Slayer. Did you see I shot it? It's fantastic. Oh, Zaji. He is the best. So, I didn't really like the way the dragons were done. Like the ending of Northern Elsewhere with what's his face? I keep thinking Cal Kratoric, but that's from Guild Wars 2.
Yeah, Cal Grantide.
Cal Grantide and his disappearing and becoming this weird in the Jode section. It felt weird, and then even the rejoining on the island just really felt disjointed, and I don't know how best to explain between Northern and Southern Elsewhere, other than it like made no sense why the new dragons were there, you know?
Yeah,
like why they're cracking out of the thing or whatever.
No, why they're even helping Congrantide or whatever in his whole mess.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, it seemed like a lot of them had different goals as well. Like, if you have the three dragons, like Yolokar and Navintas and whatever the other one is that I don't remember its name off the top, Lokestes, in the Sunspire trial, it's like they're all independently trying to convince everyone that they're gods.
Sure.
That has like that's, you know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, we're totally gods. It's like, well, is Khal Grantide okay with that? Like, isn't he trying to basically mantle Akatosh and like say he's the new god? Like, so it's kind
of the Dark Moon Rising. Yeah.
Right. I see what you're saying. Yeah. So the fact that like they kind of all had like their own separate agendas. I forget what the one is that wouldn't even fight. So they just killed him and then resurrected him and made you fight him because he wouldn't cooperate with them. Yeah.
Yeah. He was the ally of Nephi right off the bat. Well, not ally so much as like he took an oth kind of deal.
Yeah, it's a neutral party, which is about as allied as a lot of dragons tend to get.
Right. And it still just didn't make a whole lot of sense why, like, okay, so all of a sudden Khal Grantide's trying to get to Jode's core in order to absorb power to become a god. Okay. Failed.
Yeah.
You get to Southern Elsewhere, and everyone's still going, well, we'll just get the Aeon Stone. We'll do the same thing. But no one knows where he was. Like, how do they have this meta when he was launched off into freaking space?
Fired him off.
And now all the other dragons are like, well, here, we'll just get the Aeon Stone. We'll be ready to go for when he gets back. Like, it just seemed weird that
they remained focused when losing their leader for a while, and then he came back and blew up.
And it's like all that ran through my head was the World of Warcraft meme. Naxxramas was just a setback kind of deal, like because he keeps coming back over and over and over again. It's this idea that why were the other dragons focused on his ascension when Jode's core was the primary plan, and then all of a sudden they're acting like no, really it was the Aeon Stone was our plan the entire time to do the exact same thing he was trying to do with Jode's core.
Yeah, so it was like, why did they stay organized when theoretically they all kind of had their own thing, but they stayed under his umbrella type of thing, even when he was MIA. As what okay.
Yeah, even Alduin's lieutenants were like, yeah, nah. Once Alduin got his butt kicked, I mean, they were like, yeah, no. And Alduin is straight up like one of the prime, Akatosh's, I forgot the word, children.
He's
like the firstborn or something.
Yeah,
of
as much as dragons
and,
are kids to any other. Yeah,
and then even his lieutenants were like, yeah, he's wrecked. Guess we'll just go.
We'll do whatever we want now. Yeah. So it seemed weird, like, the Jode's core wasn't my plan all along. It was really the Aeon Stone. It was all just a distraction until, we got here. I did like how Abner Tharn, while I hate Abner Tharn, was getting really old, and you could feel it throughout the whole thing.
Yes.
That was the saving grace of the Elsewhere chapter for me, because while the storyline in general didn't pull me in, seeing Abnur, like, they did Abnur Tharn such justice with character development throughout that storyline. Was
right.
I'm still sad.
Tharn is Tharn. It's just how he goes. But I thought it was neat. That particular story. I'm trying to think. There was something else that I thought was really cool with Southern Elsewhere, and I cannot remember it off the top of my head right now. But like storyline wise, it was pretty good. It was what it was, right?
Yep.
Now, Greymoor. So I'm actually almost all the way done with Greymoor. I'm on the quest where I'm trying to stop the massive Harrow storm over Solitude.
Okay. Yep. I know where yep.
I finished everything else because it's my habit to literally do everything else before I do the main storyline. So I clear out everything else, which actually shows you just how short the main story quests actually are if you do them back to back without any of the
It's always funny that if you streamline any of these, because these games are so massive, like the single player one, this one, but it involves you getting distracted. Like distraction is part of the formula. If you mainline it, it's pretty funny. Like I'm always entertained by people who Skyrim was their first game and they just mainlined the like Alduin quest, and they're like, the game was like 12 hours long. It was like, who the hell plays Skyrim for 12 hours and beats the game? Like, what? What did you do?
I haven't even left Helgen in 12 hours. What are you talking about?
It's like, how did you? Oh my God. None of this stuff distracted you? You really just beelined it right for the middle? Huh. I'll be damned.
But again, therein lies the idea of you got to follow that line, because the story of the Great Host actually starts in the prequel dungeons. Right. To even understand who the Grey Host are, because when you actually meet the Ashen Lord, he's a Red Guard.
Yep. Yeah.
And it's like, wait,
pretty dapper too.
Oh yeah. He kind of is. What's his name? Zingalis. The quest with Zingalis, when they capture Fen, oh my goodness, was that dark? I'm like hearing him being tortured throughout the room. The voice actor did fantastic with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it was creepy.
Yeah, they really embraced their R rating.
Yeah, Greymoor definitely went a little dark with some of the
It was
direction.
very macabre.
It really was, yeah. Because a lot of the experimentation they did too on things is like, wow, best case scenario, this is awful. Like,
I know. Even going into when the first time I entered Greymore Keep and seeing like the torture tables,
yes,
all lined up and like bodies on them, I'm like, there were times I legitimately had to step away. I'm like, I'm okay. I'm gonna pause this for a minute and go try to find a happy place or something, kick puppy. I'm out there kicking puppies to feel better about myself because I'm like, I know this is terrible, but it's better than that. It's bringing me up.
Yeah, they definitely did lean into the darker side for some of the stuff in that.
Yeah,
except for one thing that I will not be spoiling, but I'll just be curious to see. You'll have to tell me once you've finished everything to the whole season
with the region
of the Dark Heart of Skyrim.
Okay.
Because there's one thing that I've actually kind of not talked about it with too many people, but it's one of the few things where I was kind of like, not sure how I feel about this. But
there's not a whole lot left for me because once I finish Greymore, I mean, I haven't finished Kind's Aegis yet, obviously.
Sure.
But Heronstorm was first.
Yeah, the Kind's Aegis is just kind of the sea giants coming in from the north with the Ice Reach Coven, which is, I think, giving them cover. Like, that's not really a main quest thing.
Yeah, it's just something. Well, I mean, yeah,
it's a great trial. It doesn't work that well, but it's got a lot of
when does it
actually
ever?
Probably my second favorite trial still in the game.
Yeah. So the prologue I did, Greymore, Blackreach. Blackreach is fantastic too, by the way.
I love the design down there.
The multi-levels of Blackreach. Like then after that it's Stonethorn, so Castlethorn and Stone Garden.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's the prologue of A Grey Host Rises, which then leads me into Markarth.
And then after you complete Markarth and Greymore, you get the post-credit thing like they did with Elsewhere. You get like the epilogue. Yeah, the epilogue story. Yeah, you basically get the completion story. And once all of it's completed, I had a bit of a hold up that I was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this. So I'll be curious to see what your take is when you manage to finish it.
I have to check it out. I wonder if I did the epilogue.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of the final conclusion. I'll have to talk to you about it after too, because I don't want to say too much.
No.
We're kind of past the spoiler tag for the show for the most part.
Well, Ag's here.
but Ag's here, and just if you haven't done it as well, I don't want to color your opinion before you get to make it yourself.
Right.
I'm curious to hear what other people say, because I've talked to a couple people about it, and they've had similar thoughts to me. And then others have had totally like, oh, no, I didn't see that. That didn't bug me at all. I was like, all right, well, touche then. So yeah, I'm just curious.
That's the one thing I really didn't care for, and this is just me. It's not saying it's a good or bad. This is totally subjective.
Yep.
Subjective, not objective. Subjective is the fact I didn't like how much emphasis was placed on Blackreach versus Western Skyrim. You were down in Blackreach, felt like 90% of the time.
Yes.
Main storyline, yeah. I don't like Blackreach. I get lost all the time.
I love Blackreach, but I felt that should have been more the side questy stuff, and the actual Western Skyrim area be more of, and the same thing with the Reach, been more like the main focus. But it was actually kind of like you got a lot of side quests in the upper above ground area, and more of the main quest was actually in Blackreach. So I can
with
definitely
the vampire
see
storyline,
that.
it makes sense though.
Oh, I mean, sure, they're underground. I mean, they're not prancing around in the sunlight too much.
To begin with, I wish they didn't do a vampire storyline, because I never really enjoy vampire werewolf type stories in general.
Yeah, the
And
vamp werewolf
I wish they
thing
did
is
just
not really
a
for my
good
thing.
old proper Skyrim story, like a Nordic pantheon, Nordic culture type story. But yeah,
I
mean,
I tend to agree. I did like how it played out, and I'm not a huge vampire werewolf fan, so I definitely agree with that. I did like how it all came about, though. Like, I thought it was pretty solid. But yeah, that's never been super my thing either. It's the vampire werewolf thing is more of a side thing to the world as opposed to anything I would focus on.
right.
Personally,
As a main theme, like as a
Yeah,
side, it could be an expansive side quest about vampire
Absolutely.
werewolf. Sure, no problem.
and it
But
clicks
yeah.
in with the Dark Brotherhood oftentimes too, where it's like, oh yeah, okay, there's a lot of vampires in these groups. Oftentimes, it's like that's
Sure.
fine. But yeah, like you said, having that be like the mainstay is a little off. But I liked how they did it, so it didn't bother me. But when it was first unveiled, I was kind of like, really, vampires and werewolves? Oh, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the end, I wasn't displeased with it, which I guess is kind of a selling point since normally I would be. So,
Right. Before I get back to the story, I grinded into antiquities in like 3 days.
oh my
All
God,
the way up to max. Yeah.
they're so much fun.
I'm still
I
not
love-
maxed out. I hate that
I
grind.
love antiquity system. That was pretty much all I did was antiquities. I love it. Was actually very much reminded me of World of Warcraft's archaeology system because it had you flying all around the world to these dig sites to find relic pieces. Now theirs was a little more simplistic, and theirs you flew to a spot, you found fragments to whatever civilization, and when you finished collecting enough fragments, you could finish the research. And then it gave you an item. Most of the time, it was just a gray item that was trash that you sold. But there were a chance, because it was very RNG dependent, that you would get something cool, a pet, mount, something like that. Similar to how Antiquities does it when you find a rare lead, it's something cool.
Yeah, it's
most of the
probably
normal
for your
leads.
house or whatever, but
I made so
Otherwise,
much
it's kinda
money,
junk.
though.
oh, you
So
make a
much.
ton, especially with the purple leaf. Actually, on the note of the stuff you get out of those, I love the little like lore snippet things they give you too
Yeah.
from sending the antiquities. Side shout out to JJ Shabadoo from the community and friend of the show. He completed every single codex entry,
Wow. Oof.
meaning he did the like item.
That's a
lead
special level of, ADD required in order to do that.
ones. Some of those require like, oh yeah, I had to find this specific like epic piece 5 times and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh
Yeah.
my God. So yeah, I he just posted that he did that. So huge accomplishment managing
and-
to pull that off.
And I'm not belittling the accomplishments. There is I think it's Outcast has a list of where every lead
Yeah,
drops.
where you can do them. The big problem is, which is, I love Antiquities, is one of my favorite new systems, and I talk about it with Gallisner a lot. The one thing I don't like RNG based things. Some of these leads I just straight up can't get them. They just won't drop the lead.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
it's not
right,
the
right, right.
antiquity that's the problem. And it's not just me. We've done them on stream where it's like we've had a 7-hour stream and 2 of the 4 of us never get the lead, and that's all we did. And I'm just like, I can't do this.
just look at the
Like,
contrast
I don't know what to
between you
do
and
with
I.
this.
Batman's Hollows. I got my lead from that in 10 minutes. You were in there for 3 hours on stream.
On stream. Yup. So many people were saying that too. They're like, how is this not dropping? I'm like, I don't know.
Right. No, I get that. I do. I get it. It doesn't bother me as much, but again, I was primarily an MMO player, so this was part and parcel for
Sure.
what
you
we
just said
did.
earlier.
Like this was
3.5 years of grinding for
Yeah.
a single mount every week. That's like, what the hell? I mean,
Yeah.
nothing in ESO should
Oh, yeah.
phase you RNG wise at that point.
right. No. It that is the level that we have here, and I do remember the hate. I was and this is a side tangent, but it's still very funny. We were getting ready for a raid, and obviously this takes a while to gather everybody. So I said, I'm going to go fishing. There was a super rare mount. It was a sea turtle. It was literally 5% faster than walking, so it wasn't a mount you ever used. But it had a 0.2% drop chance.
So it was just ultra rare.
It was so ultra rare. Anyway, so I'm just fishing. Then whatever, just because I was an achievement. I was an achievement whore like what Lotus is. That was me. Yeah, we sync together. I get it.
That's right.
In fact, I actually plan on going back in Kingdom Come to get the celibate achievement, which literally means I have to play the entire game avoiding half the quests that may end up me getting frisky with people. There's no way to get you because there's two, like, these are the games that have achievements where it's like virgin and then like horn dog, and you can't do them together. Like, you have to literally play the entire game a second time in order to get certain achievements, because you can't not do it. And what was I even saying about that? I just lost my entire train of thought.
Yeah,
you were
farming fishing.
Farming the sea turtle. Like, I got to the raid early. They finally formed up. Everyone had gotten their summons inside. And they're like, Ag, come on. We're ready to pool. We're just waiting on you. All right. Hold on. Let me just reel in this cast. Sea turtle achievement. and it flashes in guild chat, by the way, whenever you get an achievement that you never had before. And it's like, Aggelos has just got the sea turtle. Literally for the next 10 minutes, there wasn't a single word typed in guild chat that wasn't censored. You dirty son of a...
It's raid time, everybody.
It's raid time. Dude. I'm holding up the whole raid. Yep. Aggelos has gotten the sea turtle.
Yep.
I'm
going to walk it there in 6 to 10 business days.
Yeah. This is very similar to my ex often coined the bad luck. That I have lady luck apparently underneath my desk at all times, because this was very similar to when we were playing Bannerlord on stream, and I was trying to teach it with or Ark was trying to teach me how to play, and I'm like, I don't know how you get money. I'm so bored. We did our very first bandit hideout. Went in, and they dropped something that was worth, what was it, like 80,000 gold or dinars?
It was more than I made with a army of like 200 over the course of several weeks of gameplay, and I just dropped it from a random guy. Like,
it literally funded my army for like 5 years of game time from one item that dropped, which is fantastic. Yeah. I used to really tick off my ex because there was in Guild Wars 2, I got one of the precursor items, which was super rare drop as well from a one-time event. It dropped. So every time she'd say something to me, I'd be like, well, at least I got Dawn. And then she'd throw something at me, which was the name of the weapon. All right, but back to Greymoor. So, like, again, Blackreach. Blackreach was so novel in Skyrim, and I feel like because you were down there so much, it lost its allure and luster. You know, like the first time we entered Blackreach in the prologue quest leading in to Greymoor, that small little section. Oh, I was getting the vibes. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Then I get thrown into the bigger section, and I'm just kind of like,
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like
that was pretty contentious too. People either really loved it or really didn't like it. It seemed like it was very polarizing, the amount of time you spent in Blackreach.
There was also not enough Falmer and not enough Dwemer. Like, there were Dwemer stuff around, but there wasn't much there. Like, there's that was the big thing.
Than how it was in Skyrim, I guess. Like settlements, mining camps, things like that. It was
right. Oh, the Dust Town. That annoyed me. Oh, there's Nords. Just they built a whole town down here. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
I was going to say, I assume that was supposed to be all like caved in since it was so much smaller in Skyrim as well. But yeah, you'd kind of need to bury the civilization along with making it in that afterwards. So
Yeah, but I mean, Falmer were one of the big things within. But I guess the other thing that always felt really weird to me was how they segregated Falmer from Dwemer. So you go into a Dwemer ruin, you wouldn't see Falmer. You'd see maybe some of the homunculi, but you wouldn't see any Falmer.
yeah,
They had their own little tribal camps, but that's not what it was. They were running like, I mean, they would have their tribal camps, but they were built within the Dwemer ruins because they took over them.
Yeah, so you'd be fighting, Dwemer spiders or spheres or centurions, or you'd be fighting Falmer separately. Yeah, actually, now that you say it, I don't think I ever remember any crossover.
I don't think I spent
actually
the closest
enough time to even
crossover
make
you
a
would
comment about that.
Yeah.
The closest crossover was in it's not Lightless Hollow, it's the other side. In the near Dust Town, you kind of go through that one Dwemer area, so it has like its own little waypoint on the bottom.
About. Yep.
There is a world boss that is Dwemer, and I think if you go outside, if you go outside though, not even super close, but just sort of outside and walk around, you might find a patrolling Falmer. But again, it was in Blackreach and not really anywhere else. I just felt like Blackreach became more the introductory prologue quests felt more like Blackreach because it's mostly Dwemer ruins and then the mushrooms and stuff. Like that's felt Blackreach. This other area just felt like caves.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it was just an elaborate cave network type of deal.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense though because
literally
Blackreach
had
in Skyrim is just the Arkstand cavern, isn't it? It's the one big cavern, and that's about it. You can't really explore anywhere else in it.
No, the rest of it was cave-ins and collapsed and everything like that.
And I get that, but Blackreach was literally a dwarven city. Like it was a massive dwarven city. Am I wrong on my lore? I was almost positive that Blackreach
I think it's a
itself
cave system, but I don't know about it.
Vulgar name.
City.
I'm almost positive it was. Hold on, I'm going unofficial Scrolls pages.
Yeah, I'm check that because I know that it's super intertwined with the Dwemer being under there. I'm not sure off the top of my head about.
I'm almost positive.
In
I remember the
UESP, the lore page. It says it's an immense cavern located deep beneath the Pale, Winterhold, Helmar, Hafingard, the Reach, and possibly extended across all 9 holds within Skyrim. So it is called a cavern. It's a but it has the Dwemer cities found within it, basically.
So Blackreach is an immense natural lit cavern inhabited by hordes of Falmer containing the ruins of a Dwemer city.
Yeah. And then also that giant
it itself contained the ruins of a giant Dwemer city, and it was almost like a central hub of the Dwemer city because Ofthand, Mizolf, whatever it is, and Rabdathar all connected to it. So Blackreach was supposed to be like this big Grand Central Station in New York, essentially, of Dwemer, with all these satellite outposts of Dwemer elsewhere. So it was supposed to be like this giant Dwemer-ish area. Yes, it was a cavern, but that's where the dwarves built their massive city, like their massive city. And I just felt like I really did feel like that first small area where you walked in, it had a cavern, but it was mostly Dwemer ruin. You were like, this is Blackreach. Then you just get into Blackreach and it's nothing but caves. And like I said, most of the normal monsters weren't there. There's a lot of vampires, sure. But there were very, very little Falmer. Like the Falmer were almost non-existent, except for random patrols. And then like one cave where you found Chalris and stuff like that. one delve. But it's supposed to be hoarded with Falmer. Like, literally, the entire population of the snow elves that turned into Falmer should be there. And there's random patrols.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess I can kind of see what you're saying then. Like, because honestly, I had not actually thought of the fact that they were kind of separated. The one that I remember being kind of surprised, but it was an area we hadn't been to, was in Greymore Caverns with the Vampiric Castle.
Right.
That one I remember being like,
yeah,
wow, that's big. Like,
oh yeah, no, and that's fine because I could see that happening. It's its own segregated section,
right?
Fine.
It's its own part.
Fine.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah, and that area is exempt. But essentially, if you look at the map of Blackreach, it's got 4 sections. It just does. You got with these different tunnels. You have the bottom, which is Dust Town. And a few Dwemer ruins. Then you have the 2 big caverns, Lightless Hollow, and I can't remember what the name of the other one is. And then you have the big Greymore Keep. Okay, the big Greymore Keep, that's fine. It's standalone, all good. I liked it. It was creepy, perfect. The other 2 areas literally felt like caves, and the bottom area did the same thing. There were like. You got more out of the Dwemer ruins in the small little chambers running between the big central hubs than you did in the hubs. And I just felt like that was a very big disservice to what Blackreach was. There should have been far more Dwemer. Most of it should have been Dwemer, to be honest. And Falmer were severely. Oh, Dark Moon Grotto is the name of the other one.
Yep. That sounds right.
And really, all they did with that was they themed it Dark Moon Grotto, full of werewolves. Even the main quest of it was people infected with a werewolf plague.
Yeah, the werewolf area.
Lightless Hollow, vampires.
Yep.
I mean, even the naming was unoriginal. Dark Moon Grotto. I wonder if it has something to do with werewolves. Lightless Grotto. I wonder if it has something to do with, okay, I get it. Thank you. Like, I don't think I need to be handheld that much about it, right? Like, it just felt really weird. I'm saying all this, and those who are listening to this, I'll let you speak your arc in a second. I don't want you to think I didn't enjoy it. I loved it. I just think that it could have been done differently and
match what you were expecting to see.
Yeah,
that's what I was taking. What you were saying.
If they gave me this zone, if they literally gave me this zone and didn't give me the name of it, I wouldn't have thought Blackreach.
Yeah, it's like it's a cave network. Cool, like whatever.
And as for naming, they struggled with naming in the Dark Heart of Skyrim, man. The DLC is called Stone Garden. The dungeons are Castle Torn and the dungeons, Castle Torn, Stone Garden, Stone Torn. Yeah, so they had problems with naming this last year. Give them
fair enough. All right.
They did rename, which even Mike Finnegan joked that they renamed, which I greatly appreciate. Markarth, the final expansion, where it was just called Markarth.
Yeah,
it was originally called. I want to say Darkstorm.
Yeah, Darkstorm, something like that. Yeah.
I feel like they went to a random website. It's like, come up with a fun RPG like fantasy name.
Need Gothic.
Yeah. No. Like one of those Facebook posts. Pick your date of birth, your month of birth, and your year of birth. Dark Heart Skyrim.
Dark Heart of Skyrim year. Darkstorm DLC. Torn and Stone Garden.
What's your fantasy dragon name? Dark Heart of Skyrim.
Yeah, so it's like, the naming, they definitely almost doubled down too hard on it. And that's why I actually liked the change where they were like, we renamed it to Markarth. It was like, that's perfect.
That was good.
That was so much better because that, one, you play on the nostalgia thing. Two, it just fits the region. It's fine. Like Markarth is great. That is a great name for that.
I like Greymore for the same reason,
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's Greymore Keep. That's fine.
I did remember Dark Heart of Skyrim. I made fun of it like crazy. I'm like, that is the dumbest name. Dumbest name, and definitely not the name you want to print on the box.
Yeah. Greymore was much like I said. The naming was definitely a little. They were trying to get the Gothic point across, but I think everyone got it quicker than they meant to.
Yeah, we get it. All right, it's the Kate Beckinsale movie all over again. We're fine. Yeah. No, I see. It's cool. So that's. I really want it. I love Solitude. I love Solitude.
Solitude's great.
I actually, like I said, once I finish it and I do get that house, that'll probably be the only house I ever decorate. I was kind of annoyed a little bit that I actually have to finish everything before I could decorate it. Because you don't get it until you finish all of the stuff, but it's not really a big deal. I mean, I'll get that. That's not a huge problem. But
you know what would have been interesting? If you don't finish everything, you get it for full price. If you finish everything, you get a discount. From like 1 million, it drops down to 500K.
You mean
gold.
Right.
No. Yeah.
That would have been a fun
that would be
addition.
Interesting. It's just like, it costs you 20% less gold or whatever.
I guess it's also sort of a little bit of a letdown, only for the fact that by the time I get the house, I'm already moved on to another zone. I would have loved to have the house while I was like working in the region. Know?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's housing. You'll get there for whatever. But while I'm actively in the region, it'd be nice to I'm just gonna go home and have some tea. But no, I can't. I don't get it till the end. So that's
is that
sort of
Mortal
annoying.
blowing up? Yeah, I'm just gonna put this vase here and then maybe go help them.
Yeah, take a quick nap.
I mean, come on, guys. That's the standard of RPGs. Come, Sir Knight. Clearly, the end of the world is here. We gotta rush. All right, but remember, I got some other stuff to do because this old lady needs me to go fetch her cat out of a tree. So I'm going to do that first, and then I'll be back. The question, once you pass this point, there's no going back. If there's anything you need to do, you might as well do it. Oh, yeah, the old lady needs her cat. I'll be back. I got
to go pluck some skeevers and pick some flowers. I'll be right back.
Yeah, exactly, again, all that reminded me of when you said that was Futurama. Come on, Fry, let's go clubbing. Picks up a club. I love Futurama. So yeah, the up top was awesome. I did think it was a little bit of an ironic twist that Meridia's shrine is coated with vampires.
That's why.
And can I also say this? That Thido. On the Meridia statue.
On the statue. Them fancy statues. It's like, well.
Why, hello.
Yeah,
the dress with the thigh high split. And the leg. It's like, that leg.
The amount of interaction we have. What's that?
That dress looks epic on my characters. The vampire
I bet. Yeah. Ark shaves his leg for it and everything. It's fantastic. Just the one leg, because it's all. Yeah. You don't need it for the one that doesn't have the slit in it.
Yeah, the Meridia thing. There's just so many tie-ins with Meridia proving that she's not a quote unquote good guy in the series. That it's got to come to fruition eventually.
She is the epitome of chaotic good.
Yep.
She's not good,
this
though.
Is just it.
She is neutral at best.
No.
Purity thing, but purity at any cost. And it's like, well, is that even pure if it's purity at any cost?
She is. I was thinking heretic, but that's not the word I'm thinking of. She is zealot. She is the zealot of any group.
Right. It's light and purity and light, and it doesn't. Oh, you don't agree with me? Fine, you're a mindless husk because now you're pure.
Yeah, but
that's not how this should work.
Is not, purity and light in the sense of,
She's the lady
high
of
fantasy,
infinite
like
energies.
paladin or cleric. She's not a divine purity and light thing. She just hates everything else. It's just
and
she's
that's
not,
where I said the zealous.
Yeah, but she's not about purity and light for the good of because it's good.
Well, that's the thing. It's not
She's
for the
purity
sake
and
of
light
good.
because that's what she is. That doesn't make her
she's
good. That makes her
obsessive
neutral.
Yeah, she's, and I guess if that's how you want to, because I was going to say, in terms of, she's, when I'm saying like, yeah, she's extreme with the purity thing, it's literally purity. Like, no, you can't be corrupted, or, you know, oh, vampires, these need to be purged. It's like, well, no, there's no opinions. It's just, this is no, like, so.
There's no semblance of redemption or mercy in her.
Yeah.
She is for greater good.
No, not greater good. No.
No. Her greater good.
Yeah. Her great. Yeah.
Her great. What she sees as good.
It's a subjective greater good.
Right. And that's where it says with the zealot thing, you know, she reminds me, if you've watched Game of Thrones, Aerys Targaryen, burn them all. That is who she is. She's that. Burn them, even if the dying breath of the sword through his back, going burn them all.
But what I'm arguing is that she is not a zealot for because she believes that will be for the greater good of everyone. She is a zealot because that's just
for her greater
she
good.
Exists as a depiction, an avatar of like purity and light. Therefore, she hates everything that is not. But that doesn't make her. Right. She doesn't fight for the good, but does it in a chaotic way. She just fights because of her existence. So that's why I say
nothing she does is altruistic. It's
like she doesn't give
her realm and her influence.
Yeah, she doesn't care about the people of Tamriel, and the only way that people of Tamriel will be better is through purity and light. She is just purity and light, and everything that is not is enemy of hers. So therefore, she is not good, but more neutral.
So also on their note, just because they're super, I think they look really cool, but they're also really, really creepy. Is her Aurorans? Her her Daedra. Oh my, those things are like, they look really cool, but the concept of them is way more disturbing than I feel the game ever really lets on until you read up that it's like, wait, you're basically her followers who she just purged and turned into super light zombies instead of like.
Has anyone ever watched Sword Art Online before?
Yeah.
The anime?
Heard of it, but no.
Have you watched the Alicization arc?
The what?
The Alicization arc, the Underworld arc. ARC,
I probably
not
did,
ARK.
but that was so long ago.
Okay. So what this reminds me of, and in this particular show, so for anyone who doesn't know, I'm not a big anime fan anyway, but this is one that I do like because it's actually about video games, to be honest. It's actually video games that are VR that suck you in completely. Anyway, this is like the third... Technically, it's like the fifth arc, but it's like the third season. At this point, the VR MMOs have expanded so much that they're working on a project called Project Alice. And in Project Alice, people go into the game, but time is so sped up that they spend years and years in there in what would be a couple minutes. So, like, the main character can't even remember what he did when he came out because he literally spent 15 years in the game in a single night kind of deal. Anyway, fast forward a little bit, the computer AI goes insane inside. She's called the administrator, and she forms a group which are known as, is it Purity Knights?
I don't remember any of this.
I can't remember. Okay, Purity Knights, where what she does is she actually, because they're all computer programs, she takes out of their mind their memories of who they were, and in place of it, sticks a control crystal that actually only emphasizes the virtues. So the people who are these great fighters get pulled into her purity nights. She essentially removes their entire memory and puts in a false memory of nothing but insane virtues, and they will purge anyone who violates the laws.
So Tim Tor in chat says integrity nights.
Integrity nights. Thank you. I couldn't remember the word. Thank you, Tim Tor. But is that not what her Tim Tor? Since you seem to know, is that not what her Aurorans act like?
I was gonna say that sounds super like similar to what her Aurorans are, which creepy.
Well, I mean, you see that with Darian.
Yeah,
like what Darian is now is not what Darian was before.
No, he's like trying to fight through that, and it's like you get to basically see his kind of brutal transformation into what he's becoming. It's like, yikes! Which again, all these things, I like how they're pointing out. It looked like you were aligned and like, oh, look how good she is, and then it's like more and more. It's like, okay. That's not the case. You just had similar enemies originally, and now that you don't so much have similar enemies, she's really proving that it's like, okay, this is not a mutually positive relationship anymore.
She's an authoritarian regime where when you have that common enemy, well, yeah, this person's got the power, they're giving us, but when there's nothing else, you realize there is no breaking free of her rule.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I see him. Tim Thor says, I never made the connection, but yeah, you are right about the integrity nights.
Yep. No, it sounds super similar.
By the way, the anime gets really dark at that point. Like, it was always kind of, people, when you died in the game, you died in real life, but it wasn't really gory. That arc went gory, like people's arms being chopped. Like, it looked like a Berserk novel instead of it. I actually had to stop watching that one too for about halfway through because I'm like, I can't do this. This is nuts.
Really, I need to rewatch it because I just remember the outlines of the general story.
It will not feel like Sword Art Online when you watch Project Alice. It doesn't. Other than the main characters in it, you get a little bit, but it feels different. It is much darker, much darker. It grew up like 10 years. So, yeah, and all this because we talked about Meridia's thigh.
There you go. This is what spurred it. It was Meridia's thigh.
Yeah.
It's just all absorbing. There's no escaping from it.
Yep, even El Timtor, Alicization was much darker, so much darker than the other SAO arcs. Yeah, it really is. So if you're watching the show, don't be surprised when you get to season 3 Alicization and go, what am I watching? Like, it's almost to the point where, now, I wouldn't, but if my son walked into the room while I was watching, like, arcs 1 and 2, there's a few episodes where I really wouldn't want him to be watching, but for a lot of it, I wouldn't really, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. I wouldn't let him watch it, but I wouldn't be, no, if Alicization, I'm locking the door kind of thing. Like, no, you're not allowed in the house. Okay. Like, the darkness level on that went nuts. But anyway, back to Integrity Knights / the Aurorans. Yeah, they're messed up because we were actually hunting those in Morrowind because we needed a soul gem for our Iron Man run. Like, I could be talking about our Iron Man runs.
That is true.
Okay, we're gonna do that afterwards. So we're gonna do ESO, and then we're gonna go back to Morrowind. So hey, Morrowind, done. Still best opening theme. Never Rising, best song ever.
No, yeah. Reign of Septims all the way.
You shut your dirty whore mouth. Man, see, this is what happens. I should have vetted, because here's my problem. It must be a thing about leading DCN, because my problem was I picked an Oblivion lover. His problem is he picked an AD lover. See, it's a genetic trait that just happens.
Actually, I just realized I can change the intro from Never Rising to Reign of Septims.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, I love Rainiseptums, but let's not go crazy here. And just,
I know that just seems wrong.
it's,
That's just
I have been
terrible.
given ideas. This is your fault.
All right. But anyway, back up to the top portion. Yeah, I really wish I spent more time in the upper world. I'm trying to think of one question. I'm gonna skip that because that might offend a bunch of people if I say it. I'm not going to. No, it was more something that's more politically correct in today's world, which it annoys me that it keeps getting thrown into the game. Like, not a big deal. It's not a huge deal. Well, it is to me, but nothing else. Not worth it. The freezing effect that they put in place when you found the ship.
Oh, yeah.
Yup.
Do you remember that effect on the screen?
Love that.
I was very
actually
confused.
wish that would have stayed in the game as a weather effect, that it would actually randomly happen. Because was that not cool? You're walking across the Hadro March and all of a sudden the wind picks up and that
and crystallizes your camera.
Was one of the coolest weather effects. And I loved how the visibility, like, it felt like Skyrim, because let's face it, as much as we like ESO, all right, as much as we like ESO, everything does feel a little smaller, right?
Yeah.
Like, it just,
100%. It's
technically probably bigger, but it feels smaller.
Scale-wise, no, it 100% is, and it's why I specifically like playing questing in first person, because it limits my view down. The third person thing really makes me feel like I'm seeing too much, if that makes any sense. It's like
it does.
Too much visibility. And that feels off to me. So it's like, yes, okay, if I'm doing crazy hard stuff, sure, I'll do that because I want as much information as possible. But it's like when I'm doing story stuff, it's like, nope, first person. Like, I want things condensed down so it feels like Elder Scrolls normal to me.
Right. And I love that effect because that produced it just by itself. You know, like you couldn't see as much and you were focused on this creepy village. I mean, I loved that, and I was so sad it didn't appear anywhere else. It was only in that one particular area. Such a cool effect. They could have done it along that whole northern coast. That whole northern coast should have been filled like that.
That would have been nice. I would definitely love more environmental.
Oh yeah.
Either visual effects or straight up like actual effects. You know?
Well, there could be a lot of effects. Sandstorms and elsewhere.
Yeah.
The jungle haze, you know, the humidity haze in all of Bosmary lands, you know, that frost in Skyrim, etc. Like, there could be a lot to limit visibility in a way that actually pulled you into the world a bit more.
And a lot of these you can actually add later into the game as well, just as additional effects. Like further down the line, they could just say, okay, we are adding sandstorms, and they could do that without changing anything else in the, at least I assume, in the zone, just as a like add-on effect.
Right. So yeah, that's kind of where I am. I could go on more, but I realize how long we are going, and I still kind of want to talk about Iron Man stuff.
Oh, God, yeah, holy crap, we've been recording for a while.
Yeah.
Hell,
I told you this could have been a 1 hour episode,
again.
or this could have been a God knows how long hour episode with Agon. I mean,
true.
I warned you at the beginning.
As I said, someone it was John who was saying, "Oh man, you're a real masochist. You just want a long episode." I'm like, I'll have you know, I still hold the record for the longest Tales episode, and that was before Ark even came on. How long was the longest? It was like 3 hours, 49 minutes, or something like that.
I think longer. I think something like
was
4 hours is the longest Tales episode.
Didn't it just go over 4 hours originally?
Well, the show
actually,
was
wait. We may have
broken
broken your longest hour episode with our Blackwood episode. Now that
Are
I'm
you sure?
thinking about it.
No, I don't think the Blackwood episode. The only one that I'm curious is when Casual Ranger joined us. That was hysterically long.
Yeah, that was very long.
That was like comically long. And then we're like, what time is it? It's like, it is the following day. Like,
Well, it's the following day now.
that's true, but for everybody.
For everybody.
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 I was gonna see if I could filter by duration on
length.
YouTube, but I can't. That would have been a helpful thing.
It was Interview with a Raider was mine. So that was like 24. I'm just trying to look here real quick. You could do view duration, can't you? For Great Justice, which was episode 22, was 3 hours and 9 minutes.
Over my age, I don't see how to do a do by thing.
Interview with a Raider, episode 38, 3 hours, 38 minutes.
3 hours 38.
And that was the longest
may or may not have surpassed that.
Yeah, that is.
3 hours, 38 minutes.
That's why we always say it's a long 2 hours or a short 2 hours, but they're all 2 hours.
I mean, it is always 2 hours. It's just sometimes it's a bit longer, sometimes it's shorter.
Yeah. So, all right, finishing up. So another thing I do every Monday with my theology partner is we have been live streaming on my channel Morrowind Iron Man. So Morrowind Iron Man is I provide the color commentary for this because that's what I do. And he's playing these characters. And what we do is we created a whole list of characters where we came up with name, race, class, backstory, and what was an Iron Man goal. Each one has a unique goal. So it's not even like we're trying to do the same thing each time. Each one actually has some very unique goal. In fact, I'm going to pull it up here so I can actually see my list. I'm using the new Opera GX browser, which is fantastic, by the way.
Oh, really? I didn't even hear about it.
Oh, it's a gamer browser. It actually has tools in it to throttle its usage when you're playing games and stuff. So that way it's not like Google Chrome eating up half. Yeah. Oh, it's sick. Opera GX. Check it out. Again, not being paid for that. I should be, but I'm not. And yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. Let me pull up my Google Sheet because I believe it's a Google spreadsheet. All right, I'll just go here. Should have just went to my drive, it would have been easier. So each one we give a very, very specific type of goal. There it is, Iron Man Christers, because his spelling is atrocious. He just types. So we had 30 different characters that we picked, that we made, and we did a random number generator every time. Now we are on 15 episodes. They generally run about 2 hours each. A short 2 hours or a long 2 hours. One of those things.
There it is.
There it is. So like our very first character, his name was Rithlin. He was a Red Guard, and we called it a custom regatta class. This, when we went through, we picked out and did all of it. So here, so he was a sword singer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we role play this like a light role play. Like he kind of role plays it out, and I tend to just throw stuff in there. But this is a heavily modded. We're not even using the original base game of Morrowind. We're using Openmw. If you've never heard of Openmw, it is a complete. It's not the same. They built an engine to replace Morrowind's engine.
What?
So it's Morrowind in a completely custom game engine because it has nothing to do with the Bethesda engine. Okay. This thing even has multiplayer framework in it. So you can actually play Morrowind multiplayer. We also do Tamriel Rebuilt, which is literally a massive project to completely rebuild the game Tamriel in Morrowind. Right now, you can visit all of Morrowind, like the areas we see in ESO, Deshaun, all those areas, and even some of the other areas. What is the house? The Slaver House.
I don't know much about Morrowind.
House Drez.
House Drez. You could visit House Drez lands in Tamriel Rebuilt.
When you
like
said
the big horn.
Slaver house, I was thinking of a specific house, like a location, like a building. I was like,
yeah.
not the group. Yeah.
Yeah, no. But they're kind of on that little, like when you see Vardenfell, it has that little loop around it. They're on that little wing. You could visit all of that area. They're like doing this massive area. They're rebuilding all these areas. It's huge. So we've been doing that, and it's all on my YouTube channel as well. So you can go and check that out because Twitch deletes stuff now.
yeah.
They all get unique starting locations. They don't all even end up on the boat because one of the mods we have allows us to pick custom starting locations. Sort of like Another Life in Skyrim. You know,
that's my favorite thing.
Yeah. So we actually had him resting in a spa in a city called Darum, which is in Tamriel Rebuilt. His goals were to defeat Umbra, defeat the Ebony Warrior, go after the Ice Blade of the Monarch, and seek out the strongest warriors in Morrowind, which included killing Berserking Den Mother, which is the highest level character in the game.
That is awesome, by the way.
Well,
I love that.
You say that.
Well, I love it in concept.
Yeah. Now let me pull up my list because I actually wrote down how long they lasted. So we are currently on. Where's my Morrowind?
Is there Ebony Warrior in Morrowind as well? Or Oh, I didn't know that. I thought that was just Skyrim thing.
So Rithlin lasted 2 episodes. That's all he lasted till he died. And we don't do any save scumming. We allowed 1 mulligan at one point because there was like a weird bug where he was drinking a health potion. The battle was over, but when it wore off, for whatever reason, his health fell to low 0 and died.
Lame.
Yeah, so we're like, all right, you get 1 mulligan, but now that you know those potions have the ability to do that, doesn't count anymore. So our next character lasted 15 minutes before he died. This was a Khajiit named Ravani, and he was a custom class. Let me see, where's Ravani? Oh, so Ravani started off living as a hermit on Aeroth Island, and his goals were, we roleplayed it that because he was this hermit and he was also a Khajiit, he was kind of like a raven. He had to collect all these shiny things. He had to find the Bitter Cup, the Fork of Horoplation, Azura's Star, and all these various trinkets like Dwarven cups and bowls and bring them all back to his house. That was his Iron Man goal. While running outside, he ran across a Nyx hound that just murdered him because he didn't have any weapons. Because again, he was a hermit. So he had nothing. Like we even designed the characters to the point where he had nothing. And he had to go try to, it was fantastic. So he only lasted 15 minutes. In that same episode, we actually had a character named Arenil Baranos who lasted from episode 2 to episode 5. Now, Arenil was actually the one that we could do whatever we wanted with. All right. His main thing was actually to complete the main quest. So this was the only one where, that started the game normally. He did not make it. You'll have to watch to find out how he died, but it was funny. Mostly because Valen about cried when he died. Yeah, absolutely cried. At which point he became so frustrated. We made another character whose name was Travin Airloth, who was a Dunmer female, and her entire thing was to find and complete the Moragtog questline. Didn't have to do anything else. That was all we wanted to do. Each one of these characters is fairly unique, as you can tell. We kind of jumped around. They don't all have the same goals. She lasted episode 5. She lasted longer, but not much longer.
Yeah.
Now comes the final character. You'll see I'm a little pissed off because I've been trying to kill this character since episode 5. We're on 15 right now. This character
the one that you want dead is the one that survives.
I know. Well, yeah. He started studying at the Balmor Mages Guild. His name is Undil. He's an Altmer.
Oh.
And his task is not even something that actually is part of the mainline quest. It's to defeat Divith Fear. He has to kill Divith Fear.
Now, I don't know how powerful Divith Fear as a character in the game, like stats and everything, but lore-wise, killing Divith Fear is...
Yeah,
good luck with that.
Hold on. I'm going to find it because it's very close. How do you even spell Divith?
Oh boy,
I know, but I couldn't
in
say.
there. No,
I know, right? There it is. Divayth.
Yeah.
All right, I don't want him in there. I don't want Divith Fear there in online. I want him in Morrowind. Why is there 900 stupid things in here for Morrowind or Oblivion and not Morrowind? Oh, maybe because I have it marked that way.
I mean, I found it, but I don't know what I'm supposed to look at. He has 999 health, 999 magicka, 70 alarm, 35, and level 65.
He's actually not that powerful in terms of level because the Berserking Den Mother is 80.
Oh, okay.
In terms of raw stats. But he is a mage, so he has a lot of weird things about him. So he is very, very, very difficult to actually complete. So
999 magicka alone just seems like you would just get bombarded with spells.
Oh, so Divith Fear has the most health and is the highest level NPC in the vanilla game because the Berserking Den Mother came with
with an expansion. Okay.
With the Frost Morn or Frost Moon expansion. So
Got it. Yeah, the Blood Moon expansion or whatever it's
Blood
called.
Moon expansion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. So that's the character we're currently on, and he's moving along. So we record that every Monday. So I guess that's the end of my tales.
All right, there you go. Well, we gotta have you on the show more.
What? So it's not a 3-hour tales section?
Hey, we just no, it's fine. What we needed to do was just catch up from the last
several weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna say
several months, not weeks.
Months. Yeah, Tales fleshes out when you have months of Tales.
Oh, and as El Timdor says, and he has Daedric armor, so he's definitely not squishy.
Yeah, that's very valid. He actually looks really cool.
Daedric armor is rare in that, like, there's only a couple pieces.
Yeah, it's not
like Skyrim where you could craft it.
Yep. Yeah, Daedric armor was very rare in Morrowind.
Yeah,
it looked awesome. Those tower shields were so cool.
Yeah, all, and let's put it this way: all Daedric armor is classified artifact in Morrowind. Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
I don't remember.
So that means there's one instance, with the exception of Divith Fear. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, because if you look on Elder Scrolls and just look for Daedric armor, Morrowind.
That's weird. I did not remember that. Although I have not played Morrowind in a very long time.
There you go. I'm going to post that. You'll see each and every one of those actually count as, let's see, Daedric armor, raw, ebony, blah, blah, blah.
I do remember really enjoying eating raw ebony in that game, though, because it was an alchemical ingredient. I was this seems terrible for my digestive tract. You can eat raw ebony in that game.
Okay.
So, armor locations. Daedric armor is incredibly rare. In some cases, only one example of each piece exists. And in order to acquire them, you will have to take them from their owner, Divith Fear.
Yeah. So there you
Also,
go.
Duetfear is the only instance of it too. So the only way to get it is actually defeat Duetfear.
Only way to get certain pieces is off
Certain
of him.
pieces of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Like if you look right now, on that page I gave you, look at armor locations. In a lot of cases, they only spawn in one area unless they also share something with Duetfear.
Right. Nice.
Like,
I like
the
that,
Daedric
actually.
shield is the
Daedric
one
armor
that,
should be rare. That's
Yeah. It became very, very common. But it was neat when it was a little more rare as an item.
yeah. And like I said, if you find them all, they actually have the classification as artifact, similar to the Daedric weapons and stuff
Right.
of those nature. Artifact. They're all artifact level.
Daedric Tanto and Daedric Wakizashi. At one point, did the Daedra learn to make Japanese weapons?
They sure did.
Daedric Katana.
They did.
Oh my god.
Yeah, some of the
Yup.
weapons were very unique. And that's, again, spears and all this stuff.
What was
Morrowind is...
what were the crescents
oh...
that were in Battlespire?
It actually might just be called a Daedric Crescent now that you say it.
We actually had that modded into the game, and one of our characters had it.
It is.
I think
It's just called the Daedric Crescent. Yeah. It
Yeah.
doesn't even have
Yeah.
a fancy name.
Oh, there you go. Daedric Spear. Spears.
Yep.
The one thing
Yup.
the
But there
Elder
you
Scrolls
go.
community never
Oh my
got
God.
after
Yeah.
Morrowind.
The
Hashtag
Daedric
bring back
Dia
spears.
Kanata. Yeah. I mean, if you look at the image for Daedric weapons, look at those things. They are crazy. I love the Dia Katana. The thing was like a two-handed thing. It was
Yup.
massive.
Yeah, it was massive. I remember that. I used that quite a bit in that game for a while, if I remember correctly.
Yep, me too. Me too. But yeah, all these things are artifact level, so they're very hard to find. Weapons, I think, are a little bit more common. Actually, you can look. Again, you can't craft any of these, so you have to get them from these locations. They're not craftable like they were in Skyrim.
Right.
And some of it you'll actually see it's maybe. So it doesn't necessarily mean it will be there. It may be there if it spawns.
Yeah, it's got a chance to spawn. Yeah.
So
So, Ark,
Yeah.
what are your tales?
As I said in the beginning, all I've done was random dungeon, random normal, random dungeon, random battleground, random things. I did surveys before the show today. We did some random veteran dungeons.
Condense it.
But yeah, but the
So
problem
funny.
is I didn't do anything exciting or noteworthy.
I
mean,
go
we've
for
been
2 hours, he goes for 2 seconds. It's fine.
Yeah,
That's what
we've been
I
attempting
just thought
Stone
was so
Garden, but I
funny.
think I talked about that last episode. I don't think we
Oh,
did
yes,
it
that you
again
almost. Yep.
since then. So yeah, I don't, I can talk about Star Citizen. See, basically, because I know when Blackwood
Hey, why
hits,
not? I
I will
talked
be,
about Sword Art Online somehow. I don't know
Yeah.
how that happened.
I mean,
It's surprisingly tied in. Very well.
Insanely well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know when Blackwood hits, I will be both doing story and, a lot of
Right.
things, Oblivion portals, stuff like that. So I guess I'm sort of
Oh, I'm
Pulling
skipping
myself-
Blackwood. I don't want to have to go through Oblivion experience again.
It's your favorite.
Oh. You're
Yeah, I
not
guess
going to
I've
want
been
me on
pulling
that
back from Yasuo
episode.
a bit. Just reducing
This
my
is just
burnout.
Oblivion.
These are yeah, they are Oblivion portals.
Yeah, oh yeah.
They are. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was going to
They-
try to find like a
They better all be identical, just like the ones you fought. Oh, great. My 900. In that one quest that required you in Oblivion to kill 14 of them. There was no.
So here's
no,
the thing.
I think we have to
I
find
think
12
they are
of
all
them.
identical. You just start at different points in them.
Really? Oh, I thought there was a set amount of different ones that you started at different points.
That might be true.
I think that's it. So it gives the illusion of like a ton of options when it's like, well, there's a moderate amount of options.
Yeah,
That's at least my
that might also
understanding
be
of
true.
it.
But yeah, you are gonna play Oblivion again, Ag.
There's no escape.
Maybe I'll just skip that whole expansion. Just like, no.
Well, I mean, here's the thing.
After Markarth, I'm just waiting.
Well, I was gonna say you don't have to do Oblivion portals because they are the world events, but I'm pretty sure that some of the quests will also
the world
just
events are just
force you
Oblivion
into
portals.
Oblivion portals.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure
deadlines.
they'll at least make you see one. Look, maybe you'll be pleasantly surprised, Ag. We didn't expect Tamriel's toilet to be as entertaining as it was, and that story was
This is
fantastic.
true.
That
This is
was
true.
I was gonna
I
say-
thought you meant the
flashbacks.
house.
Oh well, I meant that. I meant the whole.
It's got this giant pool in it. Look, it's got a whirlpool. That's where it flushes.
I don't like this. I don't like where this episode went.
These are bad memories.
I'm having
toilet-
flashbacks of that freaking temple, with the
The
brown.
house that you were just gushing about. Look at it. It's got its own pool. You're in Tamriel's toilet. No, it's beautiful. Look, it even sucks down. Yeah, that's how you flush.
Oh
But yeah,
man,
that
I
was
didn't
like-
live that down for like 50 episodes. That
Oh,
that
yeah,
whole
no,
thing
no.
continued for like 50 episodes straight.
It's
There's- oh.
still. I stand by the fact that is the most underrated expansion in.
I actually didn't
Um,
do Murkmire. I
that-
did
yeah,
one
Murkmire,
quest
I
in
mean,
Murkmire.
not the
During
house,
that
that's not the
quest, I
expansion.
fell into a pool of brown goo because I thought it was solid earth. I jumped in it. It wasn't solid earth. It just had the color of earth.
That's-
It wasn't solid at all. I just plopped into it.
That's the poop.
Oh, really? So yeah, I did not do
I,
Murkmire.
I still can't recommend Murkmire enough to people. It's such an underrated expansion.
Anyway, Lotus, how awake
all
are you
right.
guys? Do you
I'm
wanna?
fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
In that case,
I end
I
up
gotta
gonna do
pee
tomorrow.
now,
Yeah.
so I might
Take a fire
actually
break.
step and
Yeah, I was
and-
gonna say.
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
because I literally finished
Oh,
almost
yeah.
this entire 1.5 liters of water
going
since
back,
we
going
started.
back to the water conversation in the pre-show. How much water do you
Yeah,
drink?
you basically drank as much water as Lotus tries to drink per day during the show.
in,
Yeah.
in this 2-hour show. Yeah.
Yep.
And this is my
um,
second one today. I'm one behind.
Yes, hydrate. It's healthy. It's fine.
Yeah, but
hydrate
eventually it
until you
feels like you're
suffer.
drowning.
Yeah, that's the
So-
problem.
Yeah, it's better than forgetting to drink water all day while drinking coffee, and then at the end of the night just going like,
Oh, God.
and
Yeah,
headache
okay,
and
that
everything.
sounds awful.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. I literally forget drinking water some days, entire day, straight up from morning to nighttime. I only realize it when my head basically goes like, "Yeah, I'm gonna explode now. You did, you didn't water me. I'm gonna die."
explode now.
Yeah. I think we're probably gonna break the record tonight, by the
Yeah.
way.
So I did check actually off to the side. The Casual Ranger episode was not longer. It was 3 hours and 15
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't actually. I knew it was close, but I wasn't sure if it was the longest.
Because the stream has been live for 3 hours and 13 minutes.
That's
right
with
now.
that's with pre-show though. The actual
Yeah.
episode is 2 hours and
2 hours.
27 minutes right now.
Yeah.
So
it's
we need to
okay.
record over
Yeah.
an hour still to break
I
the
don't have that
record.
many tales.
Well, yeah. All right. Maybe not.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going
I
to go
think that-
take a bio while you're
Yeah,
starting.
good.
So to start with mine, we'll start positive and go negative. Also, just because, it's been a long running saga. I finally beat fucking Cloudrest Veteran +3 bullshit.
There you
I
go.
got my skin. that looks like a raisin.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the raisin skin, right? Like the ugly,
raisin skin.
very ugly skin that you fight
yes, it
with your
is.
blood and tears to get.
It's fine. It's whatever. I finally did it. It's the irony wasn't lost on me that out of any of the jewelry pieces I could get, I was like, man, I could really use a Gallonway perfected necklace. Well, I got the ring, so whatever. We're just gonna keep going with the bad RNG, but I don't care because I beat Cloudrest 3 finally. I'm so happy. I've just been in there for so long with different groups. Shout out to the Empty Soul Gems, which is the new group that formed. This was our 4th session, actually.
There you go.
With this group, which I was like,
Empty Soul Gems.
all these months. But on the flip side, what I will say is I always try to look at these as a positive experience. Granted, I have had many different groups and many different rosters over these last several months that I've been like begrudgingly in this place. It was all great practice because when the Empty Soul Gems organized and got together and started running, I believe there were 6 of us who had never cleared it. So 6 of us got skinned in that one run. So it was half the trial team had never even cleared that place. So it wasn't like a ringer team of like a bunch of all-stars like, oh, I done this a bunch of times. I know people were experienced. Nobody was new to the trial. Everybody had experience from different groups, but it kind of got coordinated from one of my buddies. But yeah, I was very, very pleased that we managed to clear it on our 4th session. We're going to start messing around with some other achievements in there. There's questions if how dedicated we are because Blackwood is coming out. So not sure if we want to bother with this much more, but people were talking about like, oh, well, maybe we can see how good we can get at it since we had a real decent amount of success in a short amount of time. But yeah, I am pretty much on cloud 9 in relation to that because that was one of the most involved things that I've ever had to try to clear. Because, man, you need everybody on the same page for that trial. It's just...
Yeah.
There's so much happening, and like one person struggles with something, and everybody dies. It's a mess. And I specifically wanted to bring this up because I get a kick out of my own botches as much as anybody else does. Before we cleared it, we got to execute. It was the same night, but we got to execute phase. And we're down to about 40%, 41%. And I am the kite tank for this specific group. Most of the time, I tend to be portal tanks. But in this situation, I was an off tank. So while I was kiting during execute, I got picked with the fire mechanic, which for anybody who has not done Cloud Rest, especially with Cloud Rest plus the minis where you get all these different mechanics, it will pick a target and that person will have this growing flame around them, and you need to run into a group of people, and when the meteor hits you, it disperses the flame amongst everybody, and everybody takes a little damage rather than you taking all 600,000 damage and melting. So during execute on +3, you have all of the mechanics happening basically amped up to 11. There isn't one fire thing, there's 2 fire things. There isn't one ice, there's 2 ice. 6 people get bar swaps. Like, it's just, yeah. Well, I happen to get the fire thing, and I run in, and how, I assume this is just a common strategy, but basically, you have to yell out which side you're going to during execute, because people have to kind of be split so that you can separate the fire into the 2 groups. And I am under the impression that the left side, that the right side is bad because an AoE grows on that side. And I'm like, that's where the other fire is. So I call out fire coming in left, meaning I'm going to the left side team to disperse the fire. The problem was, which I have it on my VOD just because I study when I screw up, and man, this one sucked. It turned out that was a different AoE. That wasn't another person with their fire spawning. That was one of her like purple like pulse orbs flying over that side. But because it was at the same time, not just me, but several people thought that was the side that had the fire. So as I run into the group, I hear, no, wait, go right. And all I was able to do in that period of time was, and I dodge rolled to the right based just reactionary. I did not get out of group. I managed to blow up not just the left group, but when I was mid dodge roll, I blew up both groups.
Nice.
So I took down 10 of the 12 people in the trial.
You don't need Mike Finnegan to design bosses when you have tanks like this.
Yeah, right?
I was like, oof. And everybody was just, it was so tragic that everybody just thought it was funny. So everybody's just laughing. And several people were like, I saw that too. And I thought you went to the right side and then realized that you were stacking fire on the other fire. And I was like, oh my God. So we were about an hour into the trial that night. So I was like, oh my God, if that's how this ends tonight and it's my fault we don't clear, I'm going to be real annoyed. But like 2 pulls later, we get back there. I did manage to pull fire correctly. I got fire again. And it was funny because me and the other person were like, I'm going left. And they're like, I'm going right. And we're like, all right, perfect. This is very descriptive this time. But yeah, we knocked it out. Finally beat Cloud Rest +3. It's great. It's great. Screw that place. It's trash. Hate it. It's the worst. Which the other thing I did in Elder Scrolls Online, which was the only other thing, which I would have talked about last time, but we skipped the show just because there wasn't too much to talk about. Pixie was MIA because she's got some real life stuff. One of the things that I've been working on, and I was super excited to get. Well, actually, I don't know if I had done this in time or if I was still trying to. So if this is a repeat, I might have said this, but I don't think I did. I got my quad kill in.
I think you
did
because I remember you getting. But I don't know if we talked about it on the show or privately.
Yeah. So without going
memories.
into it, I've been trying to do that. It's very hard to get a quad kill on a tank. I did it with I feel like I might have mentioned it.
Unleash Terror build, right? Because
yes.
I even farmed it since then, so we must have talked about it. But yeah, we did because I farmed the set. I have a full set of it now.
It's such a scumbag combo. It's great.
I still haven't tried it because I'm planning to combine it with something different. So I want to try that with Curse of Doilemish, which if you hit a stunned enemy, it deals a single, like if you heavy attack a stunned enemy, it deals a heavy physical damage. So what I want is shield charge into Curse of Doilemish.
Yeah, all right. I can see that. I can definitely see that.
But I don't know if it's gonna work. Like I gotta hit them before they CC break, but we'll see.
Right. But even still, yeah. Oh man, I'll be curious to see how it works because it's great. It's great in quotes. It's great.
Great for us.
Yeah, it's great for us. Terrible for anybody who's doing that to us. But yeah, so that right there was pretty much the extent of my success in life. I'm very excited about that. But then I was so high on life, I decided to play Battlespire because I also hate myself and don't like enjoying things. So I played since our last show, I actually stacked up, it looks like about 8 hours of Battlespire time looking at my past streams, which is an unhealthy amount of Battlespire for anybody that has not played Battlespire. Also, GOG decided to make me feel worse about myself by comparing on the GOG screen, like, hey, here's the leaderboard of your friends in this game, and it's me. It's just me. It's just me and sadness. I was like, cool, I play Battlespire. And then it compared average played. I don't know why it does this, but I guess people are supposed to be happy about things that they play. But it says, you played Battlespire for 19 hours and like 50 something minutes. And I was like, oof, that's pretty rough. And then it says the community average, and it compared me to the community. The community average for the game is 3 hours.
Nice.
So everyone on GOG averages 3 hours, and I'm already at 19, and I am on floor 4 of 7. So I'm
Nice.
slightly more than halfway through it.
It's either that or the majority of people on Good Old Games are more intelligent enough to go, wow, I'm quitting this mess.
I'm
way
done.
earlier.
I am out.
Yep. Nope. Hard pass.
And that would be the correct decision for anybody who is interested. So interesting stuff I did find. Originally, I was looking for Scourge where I left off. And I roamed around clicking everything. And when I say clicking everything, if you do catch any of these streams, people have started to point out that it's starting to look almost like some of these things are staged. Like, how did I find that? And it's because the entire time I'm literally walking and just clicking the mouse just all the time, because every single main quest item is hidden in some bullshit location that doesn't make any sense. And I was roaming around.
What are you doing to that Daedroth? I'm just finding this.
It's that scamp said there was a key. So when I found Scourge, and I used my incredible powers of deduction to determine, well, if I was a Daedric mace, where would I be? And I rummaged around and found like sort of an armory. And I was like, oh, maybe it's in this armory. I don't see anything. As I'm leaving the armory, above the door is a mace. And I'm like, oh my God, it was right above this the whole time. No, that's not Scourge. There's just a mace hanging in there. And I was like, well, that's stupid. But it made a click sound. So I'm like, so what did it do? I turn around and it moved one of the platforms, to which I go down this elevator into this room, and Scourge is down there instead. Why wasn't the mace just Scourge? Like, why the extra step? It makes no sense. Like, what? And then the mace downstairs looked exactly the same as the mace upstairs that was actually just the switch to find the real, like, there's an extra step that did not need to exist in that equation. And it was making the first mace, not the mace. So whatever, I get that. I go to meet the Daedra lady that has the waterfall dress, which is a weird graphic. I hand that to her. She screams a horrific death as she's thrown into the void stream, because apparently, which I never knew, in lore, Daedra cannot touch Scourge. It rips them apart and throws them into the void stream out in Oblivion, and then they have to reform later on and come back. So that went as well as I had hoped. Killed her, get her void guide piece, go back to the horned Daedra, who opens this teleporter thing, which I'm like, all right, I guess I have to test this out because I'm stuck here. And that's it. It sends me through there, and it teleports me to the Soul Cairn, which, again, anybody who's played Skyrim would know what the Soul Cairn is.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say it looks better in Skyrim than it does in Battlespire.
I joined Lotus's stream while he was apparently in Soul Cairn, and it was just this weird, like, deformed hexagons. So everywhere is the same color, the same texture. Then there is a deformed hexagon hole in the floor, and that hole is just floating above. It's just this. There's nothing else. Yeah. Deformed hexagons that have this exact same texture as everything else in the entire place. And I was like, where the hell is this? It's like Soul Cairn.
Yeah.
Came a long way.
roaming around in the Soul Cairn, I've learned several things. Swimming is a nightmare in this video game, where you start for the first couple of levels where you can just swim like anything, old school. Well, you level up your swim speed by swimming. Actually, you level up your swim speed just by sitting in the water, I found out. But yeah, whatever, swimming. Once you start to level up your swimming, it becomes so overpowered, you cannot control it.
Oh, gosh.
You go from being like, oh, I'm swimming at like walking speed to I swim so fast, I'm glitching through walls because it's basically running at like 1,000 frames a second. And I'm only like halfway up the swim speed thing. I don't know how it gets any better, but it's a nightmare. And now I basically glitch through walls if I try to swim anywhere because my character is too good at swimming. So that totally sucks now. And then there's a big problem of enemies have started to consistently fall through scenery when I fight them. No. So I'll hit them a couple times. And at first I was like, oh, they're going invisible. They're not going invisible. They're going under the map is what they're doing. And the way I found out that they were going under the map is I fought a bunch of like harpy things up on this platform and they all disappeared. And I was like, well, they're invisible. Maybe they can't jump. So I was like, I'll just get off this platform. I did the thing. I found the item I needed. I go back down. And as I'm swimming away, I notice all of the harpies are jammed in a glob of like 9 harpies just tweaking out because they're all stuck. Oh, and they're just like in the water, but jammed in the wall at the same time. So I just plinked them with arrows from range until they all died. So
wait, your character can use the bows? Bow and arrow?
Oh, yes. I can use a bow and arrow. I can use magic. I can use my fists. That's it. I can't. Right. I have no martial skills.
How is bow and arrow not martial? How is punches not martial?
Oh, yeah, I guess that's
that
true.
That is as martial as it gets.
That's valid. I mean martial weaponry that's not attached to me, I guess. But yeah, it's just melee weapons that I'm incapable of using. So I can use a bow and arrow, which has been a saving grace several times so far from plinking stuff from range. But yeah, those that's definitely not great. Let's see. What else isn't great? In the Soul Cairn, there are ghosts, which you can punch to death, because, all right, sure. There are skeletons, which you can punch to death. Again, fine, sure. And then there are the Wraithmen, which are, you encounter you find a note from Vadashra Tanel saying, don't fight the Wraithmen. They're indestructible. And I was like, well, that's not good. And they're everywhere. And they just follow you around and they just hit you constantly without you don't have regenerating health. So they just follow you around to inconvenience you the entire time unless you get them stuck. So one of the few things I did look up was, is it possible to actually fight these things? Yes, they're not actually indestructible. So I tried. For 15 minutes, I just sat there punching one until I got so bored that I just stopped because I was like, this thing has so many hit points. There is no purpose to this. Like, this is not more effective. So I went back to running away. You eventually, however, find a incantation where if you shout at them, you pick it in the dialogue screen, it makes them die. They explode.
Oh, there you go.
And they go away. And I was super excited about that. I was like, great, now I can clear some of these out. But in typical Battlespire tradition, it doesn't work right. It works like 25% of the time. So all of my fights have devolved into me starting conversations with Wraith men as they try to murder me, and then yelling incantations at them, hoping the game registers that I yelled the spell at them and deleting them. If it doesn't do that, which happens more than it does, I have to reinitiate conversation with them while they're beating the crap out of me and click the same option and hope that it registers, and it probably doesn't, and rinse and repeat. You get the idea. This is how this goes. These are my combat scenarios now. It's awful. Then there's a crap ton of jumping puzzles, because what makes a first-person game better than jumping puzzles? Which anybody who's seen the stream, jumping in this game sucks. Probably noticing a trend. Where you have to hold the Alt key and a upside down pyramid or ice cream cone comes out of my character in a forward motion, and that's your jump destination. And when you let go, you jump theoretically to where that is. Theoretically is like the big underlying thing here, because it's really theoretical that you're going to land anywhere close to where you aim. And if you screw it up during a jumping puzzle and say you land mostly on the platform, you totally glitch into the platform and need to reload your game because you're frozen inside it.
Right.
So that's, again, great, streamlined, love it, huge fan. There was a wheel puzzle that ended the first stream where I turned these two wheels to get through this, to lift these platforms to get across. Can't find the third wheel. I don't know. I haven't looked back through the VOD. I don't know whether I just somehow missed this because I swim at 9,000 miles an hour, or if it just wasn't there. But I remember saying, it's got to be in one of these pools of water. There's no other place it can possibly be. So I go into a pool of water. I look around the pool. I don't see anything. I swim into the other pool. I look around the pool. I don't see anything. I don't know where it is. I give up. That's how that stream ended. I come back the following stream, and I'm like, I don't know where to look. So I'm just arbitrarily roaming around. I go to one of the pools of water to get to a different location, and it's just in the pool now. Did I miss it? Like, maybe I missed it.
Maybe
I
you were
have no
just
idea,
too fast to see it before.
Yeah, I have no idea. Whatever. I turn the stupid thing. I get across the whatever. I meet some ideal masters, which are...
I actually missed that one. I'm very curious about it. What the hell are they?
The ideal masters? They are apparently the beings that basically create and govern the Soul Karen. So just to give you a quick...
I mean, in Skyrim, we get a reference to Ideal Masters in Soul Karen, but it's very vague. Like, Serena's mother makes a deal with them, and that's about it. Like, oh, we made the deal, we can't break it. That's pretty much it.
And you can kind of see, they look like these glowy crystals. It looks like a glowy purple crystal. They're a little more pinkish in the other game. But just as a idea to them, as a side lore tangent, this is, I'm referencing the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages for this, because shout out to the unofficial Elder Scrolls pages and their awesome wiki. The Ideal Masters are malevolent, revenant spirits that rule the realm of oblivion, known as the Soul Karen. They, in the game, all right, so that's their too long didn't read description. They basically just look like little crystals. In Battlespire, they are literally the same character model as the health crystals. So
yeah, I was gonna say, but they're soul gems. I mean,
yeah, they kind of look like a soul gem. They're very condescending, and they're not helpful at all. They definitely are malevolent, because they're dicks. They don't ever help you. And they just tell you, like, well, maybe one of the other ones will help you. None of them help me. None of them ever help me. They're all just condescending and don't give me any input. It sucks. But it's, you can carry on conversations with them. I kind of went into it as much as I could. And then kind of to end things, I'm still in the Soul Karen. I haven't found my way out yet. as I've been trying to dig my way through different riddles, because the riddle thing is back again. They're not necessarily riddle doors. They're riddle coffins in the Soul Cairn. Every time I try to open a coffin, it's locked by a riddle. And I wish I remembered off the top of my head who it was. Again, it's always fun with chat trying to figure out some of these riddles. I was told afterwards the answers were actually on a gravestone in the Soul Cairn, and I just didn't find it. I figured out one of the riddles myself, and we were just stumped at the other one. And I wish I remembered who it was so I could give them credit. So sorry I don't remember who it was that shouted it out, but it was just basically, oh, you know what? I believe it was Wayward. Pretty sure it was Wayward Traveler. So either way, it was basically shouted out. They said, put bacon. The bacon is the answer to everything. And I was like, actually bacon kind of works for this riddle. I forget. I don't remember the riddle.
It was something like, what's bad when it's alive and then great when it's dead, or something along those lines.
Yes, something like that. And it was, something is foul when it's alive, but tasty when it's dead, or something like that, or more appealing when it's dead. And it literally was bacon. The answer was bacon because it was pig. So definitely amused by that. But haven't died an awful lot. Well, I've died somewhat, but more than dying in Battlespire, it's devolved into, how can I get myself that I need to restart the game because it's so broken? And usually it's I'm out of scenery or something like that. And it is, man, this game is rough. I have a new respect for Arena after playing this. Like, you know what? Maybe Arena wasn't so bad. Because, good God, man, this is an experience, and it is not an easy experience. And I'm still concerned that with 3 full levels and however much left I have of this level, I've been warned that there's so many chances for the game to reach a game-breaking glitch. And with the amount of glitches I get, I'm like, this is going to end in tragedy. Like, that's how this is probably going to play out in the end, is I'm going to be unable to finish this because the game exploded or something. But as for now, I'm still trying to find my way to the Soul Cairn. I definitely recommend, just if you're gonna check out the Soul Cairn, just go play Skyrim. It's so much better. It's so much better.
So Timtor asks, and what spell was on that scroll of spell that you found?
Oh, yes. So Timtor's reference to, so there was a scroll on the ground, and I picked it up, and you can learn it, and I learned the scroll was listed scroll of spell, and when I learned it, it said, you learned spell. To date, I do not know what spell that was.
It was the spell.
Because I was unaware of what was in my inventory beforehand. So I apparently learned a spell from the scroll of spell, but do not know what spell was on that scroll. So, yeah, I don't know. This game is just... It's ridiculous. This game is ridiculous.
I'm so glad that you are playing through all these classic Elder Scrolls games, and I can just enjoy them without suffering them myself.
Enjoy your misery.
Yeah, just enjoy your misery.
I just keep knowing to go forward in these games to an extent, but it's like they are labyrinths. And one of the things that's starting to become an issue, there are no vendors in this game.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way to repair your gear in this game. It's a literal dungeon crawler. You crawl along a dungeon picking up crap to try to get to the next area. But the items aren't predetermined. Like they like sometimes if I die or the game crashes and I have to reopen something, it's different items in there. So it's rolling the items randomly. Or at least procedurally. I'm not sure if it's random necessarily, but there's no consistent like this is here. Starting to run out of some pretty crucial armor pieces that keep breaking and never seem to get replaced. Like at one point I was like, man, I'm taking a lot of damage. Oh, right, my chest piece broke. So I took the broken chest piece, threw it on the ground because it did 0 protection. And I go into my inventory and I have 0 chest pieces. I was like, how? I have 5 pairs of gloves. I have 4 pairs of shoes. I have 3 helmets. How do I not have a single chest piece? So eventually I found a crappier chest piece. So I'm farther in the game and now have worse gear than I had before because there's also, I don't know if there's quality to them, level to them, something more I don't understand because I assume a lot of things I just straight up don't understand. You can have the same item. Like I have an iron chest piece. It does 1 armor class bonus. Okay, cool. It gives me +1 to armor. Got it. I pick up another iron chest piece. Well, this one does 3. What the hell's the difference? They're both iron chest pieces, and there's no listed level. So, like, why would they? How does iron do 2 different things?
Stats. I mean,
it does have an item level. It's just hidden.
That's what I'm saying. It's obviously like a hidden item level or something. Because I'm like, well, this sucks. And then that was
actually a very common thing.
Was it?
Way back then? Yeah. Because even in,
I mean, this is Daggerfall time. Yeah.
MMOs actually had that for a very long time where people were wondering, is it just randomized stats? It doesn't feel that way. It's only recently did item levels become like people complained enough where they're like, fine, we'll show you what the item level is.
Yeah. Okay. So then that's got to be what it is. And I'm just conveniently getting crappier ones now. Which is great for me being alive. That's very helpful. But yeah, I don't know. I'm still trying to get out of the Soul Karen. And I guess to end was kind of the fact that the game even seems a little bit meta on itself at this point, where I was asked by possibly one of the Ideal Masters, I forget exactly which character I was talking to, what I was looking for. And one of my responses was, I have no idea, which I felt really encompassed me as part of the game, because I have no idea I don't actually know why I'm helping the Daedra by going through that portal. Like, I don't know why I did that.
Why are you playing this game? I don't know.
Yeah, that's real. I don't know. Like, I know you're supposed to go from one level to another, and I know I'm chasing this person, Vadashra Tanel, who is basically the number 1 mage because I'm battle mage number 2. Like, she was the scholar and I was the silver medal. So, like, I know I'm following them, but like to get out of the battle spire, I have no idea. I don't know why I'm helping some of the people I'm helping. Like, yeah. So, I
mean, considering all of Battlespire being an actual like training grounds for the Imperial Battle Mages, maybe this is just a simulation for you to train in. That's it. You are gonna get out of it, and the Emperor will be like, "Yep, you passed. Good job."
That's, that maybe. The only side effect of that is a pretty rough training regime because everyone else in the Battlespire is dead.
Well,
so
one does not simply become the Imperial Battle Mage. I mean,
unless they kill everybody else.
Exactly.
It's sort of like how you don't just join Hell Stevani without killing everyone else.
That's, there it is. So see, and there you go. It all comes back together in the end. But yeah, that's where I left off. It is just oof.
Look at it on the bright side, man. When you play Elder Scrolls Daggerfall, it'll probably feel better.
Oh my god, people actually like that. Like, I know Arena people are like, this had promise. The end. And I was like, this game did set the foundation for a lot of things. So like, okay, I can accept that. The game was brutally difficult, especially trying to figure out what I was doing. People like Daggerfall. Like, still.
Yeah.
People are like, Daggerfall was a great game. Yes, it has some technical
There's
issues.
people
but it was very
redoing,
ambitious. Yeah,
Daggerfall and
Daggerfall Unity, yeah.
Exactly. People like Daggerfall. It is regarded highly. Nobody likes Battlespire. I look at reviews on the game, and the best I get is, yeah, it's pretty weird. I'm like, that's not an endorsement.
It's a game. Wow, okay.
It is a game. So, yeah, this is definitely understandably...
It makes me long for the days of DOSBox. It's
oh
like,
my...
wow.
Yeah, I forgot, like, kind of what DOSBox was like. And now the amount of times I need to boot the game up in simulation DOSBox is like, wow, it's like I'm back in the 90s.
So Altitor in chat makes a point. Isn't it because Mehrunes Dagon tried to take over the Battle Spire that everyone's dead?
Yes. So Mehrunes Dagon assaults the Battle Spire on behalf of a deal that he made with Jaeger Tharn. And they murder everybody. That's the thing, and it seems like there may or may not be a tie-in to the upcoming Gates of Oblivion year. The problem is, why am I just fumbling around here like a putz? Like,
because you're the Imperial Battle Mage.
#2 wizard. Well, I'm the #2 Battle Mage. I'm not even the
first
cool
one
Battle
apparently
Mage
got
that
lost.
was like... Well, that's true. They're roaming around. They're equally confused. But like,
you'll finally get to take your revenge on Mehrunes Dagon in Blackwood. This is for me.
This is for me for what you've done several hundred years in the future.
Yep. The longest slow play in history.
Actually, which era does the Battlespire takes place in? Is it also third era?
Battlespire takes place simultaneously to Arena.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
So theoretically, this is happening while Jaeger Tharn is currently doing his simulacrum nonsense, pretending to be Uriel Septim. This is happening basically right around that same time period.
Okay.
Patrick Stewart.
No.
I wonder if we are gonna get simultaneous to Skyrim times with Elder Scrolls 6, just playing through the...
They found a new way to sell Skyrim too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No.
It's just this time it's the same time as Skyrim, but in Hammerfell with the Princes of Hyrule in Civil War. But it's
you
Skyrim.
go back to Skyrim.
But yeah, in this expansion you can play in Skyrim actually.
To Skyrim.
In this expansion to Skyrim, Elder Scrolls 6.
Right, I installed the Elder Scrolls 6 Skyrim expansion, and my Steam says it's already installed.
That's weird. But yeah, so
That'd be great.
That's pretty much where I am. Like I said, I'm fumbling around there. I think the end goal would be like, hey, stop the Battlespire from getting ruined by Mehrunes Dagon. But as the B tier wizard here, I feel like that's not as much my responsibility. But again, I'm not really sure why I'm working with so many of the Daedra to do this. I assume, actually, I don't assume it will tell me more. I assume that more things will talk condescendingly to me, or things will try to have sex with me, like the spider Daedra, which was a really... Yeah, no, that's the other thing, Ag. This game is not even subtle. Things just hit on you and then try to eat you when, like...
Well, that would be accurate for spiders.
Well, true. Exactly.
So we've achieved Congress, and I'm hungry.
Yeah. So that's just it. It's like, it's the extra lusty spider demon. Very much so. So
thirsty.
Yeah. very thirsty. So that's don't shame the Daedra. But yeah, so that's those have been my adventures.
See, Battlespire was designed as like one of those e-girlfriend games before it was a thing. It was just with Daedra spiders.
It was a trendsetter.
So wait,
was.
is all the Elder Scrolls Online communities thirst towards like Lady Thorn and then Mehrunes Dagon? Maybe all that comes from the, Battlespire being embedded into the fan base's just genes or something.
Maybe. Well, yeah, they just haven't realized that they've absorbed Battlespire through osmosis. And then bam, it turns out we don't get Elder Scrolls 6, we get Battlespire 2, and nobody's happy.
And no one's happy.
But yeah, so that's pretty much it since the last show for me.
Oh man, I love these. I love these Battlespire tales. It's my favorite thing of the show, honestly.
Yeah, I'll aim to play more before next time.
All right, well, we are just over 3 hours.
We did it, everybody.
So, yeah, we didn't break the record again. It's hanging by a thread. If we record this show like an hour or two earlier, I feel like we can do it at this rate.
Yeah. But at this point, it's 2:30 in the morning for me. So
same.
Everyone's starting to fall asleep by now. So
that's the thing. You had months of stuff to catch up on. I've just got my normal tales. Imagine if Ark had like played a whole bunch.
You had played the game.
Yeah. That's why I don't play the game anymore. It's I'll just
it would be it'd be 5:30
to allow
in the morning
you guys
here.
to actually sleep at some point on a Saturday night.
Yeah, I suppose. But on the bright side, everybody can kind of use this as you can pretty much split this into 2 shows worth, and it makes up for the fact that we didn't get to record last week.
That is true. That is true. I mean, we did say that next episode will be a fuller one, and here we are. I mean, over 3 hours.
Actually, you might have said that, but then you said at the beginning, this will probably be a shorter episode.
It was intended to be a short 2 hours.
Yes.
It's a long 2 hours.
It's a long 2 hours. This isn't a short 2 hours.
Whenever we said it's going to be a short episode, then it was actually a short episode. That's very rare. Out of 372 episodes, that probably happened 5 times.
The only time we've ever said it's going to be a short episode and it was actually a short episode is when, like, one of us lost power and the show just literally ended.
The show literally had to end.
It was like the end of The Sopranos where it just cut to black, like mid-sentence.
I actually know one short episode that was from the beginning obvious that it was going to be a short episode. None of us was there, and you basically did a solo episode. You just recorded on your own.
That
was a short episode. That was under an hour, I think. That might be the only Tales episode that is under an hour.
Yeah, no one wanted to show up. So I'm like, I'll do it by myself. And still managed to talk for almost an hour.
Yeah, I remember that show.
Oh my.
Good times. But yeah, okay, well, so to let everybody sleep, we shall, I suppose, go on about telling people where they can find you, starting with Ag.
Oh, I get to go first. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so where you can find me now. Clearly, you can find me twitch.tv/Aggelos_DCN. I will say this. Follow, but don't expect any streams anytime real soon. That's not to be condescending. That's due to internet issues. So help me, Elon Musk, you're my only hope kind of deal at this point to get Starlink. I have ordered Starlink, and I am on the waiting list for the equipment, supposedly sometime in June. My internet now is so bad that it really is... I have a schedule on there, but I think I even highlighted that this is ideal.
Yeah, internet permitting.
It's gotten to the point where I have to roll the dice. It's like, okay, I feel good. I feel like I could stream because, you have to be in the right mood to stream. You have to be in the right, if you're tired, it's not going to be a good stream. But then there's a second rolling of the dice. So you roll the dice first to see if you're feeling good enough, and then you roll the dice again to see if your internet permits you. So really, one of those two things is really going to be a problem. I even tried streaming today because my speed test said, hey, you're good. About 5 minutes in, my internet goes, you know what? We hate you and you're going to drop packets. And it just died. I didn't even get off my stream starting page before it died. So follow me on Twitch because and I can I do a little self-promotion here for what I'm planning on doing here? Okay.
Yes.
So there is going to be a new thing I'm going to be doing, and all of you guys are welcome to come and be a part of it. I'm going to be doing a Bannerlord, Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord role-playing stream. Okay? Concept behind this is all the people in chat are going to be my war council, and we are going to decide together how to conquer Calradia. There actually are mods that will allow me to have Twitch people in the game in ways of like when I fight in arena, if it's a named person like a companion, it'll be them. But sometimes it fills in the roster with just whatever soldiers are available. So it'll just say like Valendian sharpshooter or whatever. Those will actually put Twitch names in. So I'll get to fight against the Twitch people in like arenas and things of that nature for this game. So I actually have also ordered a new Gammonson to wear. So that way I'm all themed out and ready to deck to go. So that will be happening as soon as my internet is stable. I will let everyone know. I know Ark said he'd be willing to tweet out when these things are going on. Right now I don't have a date because of my internet being the way that it is. Second place you can find me where I release videos almost every single day is my YouTube channel. I don't actually have a name for it. I could, but I don't know what I want to call myself because Aggelos is just taken. So if you want to search me on YouTube, just type in Aggelos, Aggelos, space medieval, and you'll find my stuff because I'm mostly doing Medieval Dynasty, Kingdom Come Deliverance, all the games that are more or less low fantasy, historical kind of stuff. So check me out there.
Well, folks, I mean, I don't have to say anything. This guy is the reason that we are all here. So go check him out in his new endeavors as well. And Lotus, same thing.
I'm Lotus of Doom on Twitter and Twitch and all that good stuff. I stream whenever I can. I have a crap schedule for it because of real life stuff. But whenever I get the chance, I like to try to stream. So mine's super easy to get to. If I have an account there, it's probably Lotus of Doom. So feel free to follow me on any of those things if you want to watch the junk I do or just want to shoot me a message, say hi, or ask a question or anything like that. I'll be there. Oh, also, I was going to say, the other thing that I always have been trying to make myself remember to cross-promote from one show to the other is on Thursday nights at 9 p.m. over on Robots Radio, we record the Elder Scrolls Lorecast, which is a more lore-centric podcast that I do over with Tom from Robots Radio. It's a lot of fun. We kind of just explore different topics. We're currently dealing with the 9 Divines, or 8 if you want to be controversial.
8 plus 1.
Yeah, hey, there it is, 8 plus 1.
9. Don't separate him. He is a solid divine, okay? Don't act like he's half divine or something. What is 8 plus 1? It's a rock solid 9.
That's the politically correct way that the Altmer say the 9 divines. That is social justice warring in Tamriel right there.
What do you mean? Look, man. Talos is a divine. He's not 8 plus 1. He's one of the 9.
I'm with you. I'm just saying that's the social justice warrior of Tamriel right there. That's all I'm saying.
And
I thought, see, your Altmer is showing act. Also, we got a raid from ICIC.
I was going to say IC raid
just
right
as we were doing our outro. So that means this episode goes to 4 hours. I mean,
oh dear God, I'll never sleep again.
Well, no, you don't get to sleep because now Ag and I have to fight over Talos. Okay?
I'm with you on Talos. That's all I'm saying.
What's up with the 8 plus 1 then?
No. I'm saying that's the way the Altmer
okay. Well,
say because they're being social justice warriors in Tamriel is 8+1. That's what the elves refer to.
We agree.
The nine
When you brought it up,
as.
I was like,
Yeah, no.
I mean, you already turned all my room colors to yellow at the beginning of this show.
Yeah, so you should have brought it up.
And your room is all yellow, so I was starting to suspect that you were secretly
orange.
AD all this time. So
you're more yellow. I'm kind of orange. I'm like a rust hue.
Well, you requested the yellow, so for all I know,
I'm only letting your true colors shine.
Well, no. See, the true colors would have been the red. Change.
I don't think so, sir. Because I'm pretty sure. I remember some conversations about how Queen Irene. She's what was the term, Lotus?
The
episode Warm and Kind. Yes.
No. Familiar and kind is what I said all the way back in episode 25 of this show. 250 episode ago.
Because I'm pretty sure your name in Pixie's thing is Art from episode 25. So
yeah.
They renamed your name in Pixie's Discord to Art from episode 25. So
yeah. So thank you everyone
who joined us. Have a warm and kind night.
I'm just gonna change topic now. So thanks to everyone who joined us with ICIC. We appreciate it. We are at the end of a 3-hour plus
podcast.
episode.
You're welcome.
So, and we are about to end because it's pretty late. For me, it is 10 a.m. I haven't slept yet. And for my co-host here, it is God knows what time. I don't even know.
Almost 3 a.m.
But yeah, we record Tales of Tamriel podcast here at this address, and you can find everything that we do over at dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. There you can find links to all of our social media, as well as our other shows, including our Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Discord, every other thing. You can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/dungeoncrawlernetwork if you want to help support the show, and consider leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes so people know that we are a real podcast, that we say real words. Oh my god, I'm getting tired. And most of the time it matters, except when Ag accuses me of being an AD supporter. Then it's all lies and heresy and blasphemy. Thank you all so much for joining us on this episode of Tales of Tamriel, and we will see you all next week. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
When Akatosh slew Lorcan, he ripped his heart right out. He hurled it across Tamriel, and the heart was heard to shout, red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. The laughing heart sprayed blood afar, a gout on Seer it fell, and like a dart shot to its mark down in an alien well. Magicka fused the Lorcan blood to crystal red and strong. Then wild elves cut and polished it down to Chimel at a ball. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. When elves lost Nirn to men, Akatosh gave the stone to Saint Alesh in token of her right to sit the throne. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. Red diamond, protect us till the end.